I hope everything is working. I'm a little out of practice. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Vimoh Live. It's a live stream that happens every Saturday at 8 p.m. And we talk about atheism and religion and culture and contemporary Indian politics. And we take callers, which I will be doing. I'll be sharing a link in the chat and I'll be pinning it to the top. So anyone who wants to come on screen and talk, you can click on it and you can come and we can talk. After you join, the first thing you should do is click on the private chat section and tell me what you want to talk about so I can make an educated decision about who to take first, who to take next, depending on various factors. I will remind everyone that this live stream is monetized. If you're watching this at a later point of time, thank you. You are adding to my revenue. If you're watching it right now, you can support it by becoming a member by clicking the join button below. If you become a member, you get some emojis and badges that show up when you chat, and you also get exclusive access to my Wednesday 8 p.m. live stream, which is for members only. Previously it used to be part of this stream, as in Wednesday and Saturday were both Wemo live, but on Wednesday we do a special live stream called Backroom, which is more of the same, but there is fewer people and more time and stuff like that. So yeah, also I'm a little more loose there. I mention stuff that I probably would not mention in this live stream. Another way of supporting the show is to go to patreon.com/Vimo and and what do people do on Patreon? I completely forgot. Oh, become a patron. And you can also go to my website at www.vimo.in and click the support button there to make any contribution of any amount of your choice. Or you can send money directly to Vimo at UPI, VIMOH at the rate UPI. You know what to do. Uh, I have been receiving, like, the Wednesday live stream is actually quite a bit of success. Everyone is liking it and stuff. So I guess the gamble paid off, at least for now. I don't know how long it is going to be sustainable, but for now it seems like it is stable. So we are going to continue doing Backroom. Anyone who wants access to it can become a member, and you will get access to the two previous episodes as well as future live streams whenever they happen. So without much further ado, here is the link to that I'm sharing on in the live chat. I have pinned it to the top. You can click on it and you can come on screen and we can talk. You will be added to the queue. Go to the private chat and tell me what you want to talk about. Before that, let me just read some comments. Hello, Be Better, Surya, Mohit Kumar, Jerin Matthew. Jerin says Wednesdays have been incomplete for the past few weeks. I will have to become a member. Lol. Jared, you don't have to, but if you want to, it's really appreciated. I am an independent content creator, and this live show and my entire life is sponsored by you. Rahul, thank you for being a member. Hello, fellow billionaire mind explorers. I don't know. If you mean by mind explorers who are billionaires, I don't think that's what you mean. You mean the explorers of the minds of billionaires. Okay. Surya said Jaggi in some videos said that he's against intercaste marriages because he never believes in the caste system. He goes on to say that when he married his wife, he did not even know his would-be wife's caste. What do you make of this? Well, one thing that has happened is that we live in a day and age where it is impossible for people who wish to be considered civilized to say I'm proud of my caste. I believe in caste-based discrimination. No, nobody's going to do that. So Jaggi doing it is, par for the course. Everyone will do it. Secondly, if Jaggi does not believe in the caste system, why is he promoting Brahmanism? Why is he promoting scriptures written by Brahmins? Scriptures which contain dehumanizing verses about uh, supposedly lower caste people. I don't know. There are some other rumors out there about him and his wife, which I cannot confirm, so I will refrain from mentioning them. Bernali, thank you for the 100 rupees. Bernali asks, do you think there is any genetic basis behind racial and ethnicity based discrimination? How do we become sure? There is no basis for any discrimination at all, except in medical circumstances where certain diseases afflict people from one gender more than others. Certain conditions have a different effect on one so-called race than other. Those have nothing to do with the color of your skin or ethnicity. There is no basis for any discrimination. But yeah, genetically, it seems most likely our most common understanding is that all human beings are the same. So there is no basis for discrimination of that sort. Um, Surya says, I'm worried for Vimoh and creators like him with regard to what's that sweeping broadcast bill Meghna talked about. First of all, it is a proposed law. It is not a law yet. Secondly, it will only become a real danger if the BJP wins in 2024. And thirdly, even if the BJP wins in 2024 and this law does come into being, listen, you have to understand one thing. The BJP does not need a broadcast law to penalize people like us. They can simply use UAPA. No, nothing. Just randomly assign something, implicate someone in some random lie, and then put them in jail and forget about it. Omar Khalid is paying the price for it. No problem. No, nothing. He did nothing. He gave a speech which was sweet and in favor of harmony, and he's in jail for so long. The Supreme Court of India, the highest court in the land, is continuing to defer his hearing for reasons known only to themselves, apparently. So the BJP doesn't need the broadcast law. The broadcast law is going to be used for one purpose, which is they will put a sanction on Ravish Kumar. They will send a letter to YouTube. It's a harassment law. And that will send a message to everyone else, including Meghnad, Pranav, and I, that you guys need to watch what you say. It is impossible to make laws that will control everyone's behavior, but it is possible to create a specter, a Dharavana Bhoot on the horizon, which will make people censor themselves. There are a couple of journalists who left NDTV recently and started their own channel today. In fact, it's called the Red Mic. It has Sanket Upadhyay and some other people from NDTV. They pointed out, Sanket Upadhyay in an interview pointed out that the reason he left was not because he was asked to leave, but because he found that he was self-censoring. Like, he knows who the boss is, he knows what they will like and dislike. So he finds that when he's talking, he's making a report or something, he's like, should I say this? And that's when he noticed that this is not what should happen to him as a journalist. I have my problem with all of these people, but this is something that strikes you, right? They create the real danger is not that they have created use something using which they can attack us. The real danger is that they have created a specter on the horizon. There's dark clouds on the horizon, and everyone is looking at it and making adjustments accordingly to survive. That is the main purpose of it. So don't worry. I mean, worry, but not that much. Don't worry. We have not been living in utopia for the last 4 or 5 years. This is more of the same. Don't worry about it. Those who will speak will find a way. Mohit says, what is your views on Indus Valley civilization? Is it indigenous to India subcontinent, or did Aryans migrated in horses from the Sanskrit and the Vedas? Who says this? The Indus Valley civilization is a civilization that is a river valley civilization that originated in India near rivers, right? There are plenty of cities that have been discovered. We have some idea about when they may have started and some idea about when they ended. We have very little idea about the language that has been discovered there. We can make some educated guesses about the nature of their society, but that's it. That's it. People have been coming into India forever. The first people who came to India were from Africa. Later, there was a second migration from Africa. These things have happened all through. Uh, Aryan invasion theory is no longer believed by anyone. Yes, there is some evidence to suggest that migrations have happened into India from other places, especially West Asia, throughout history. So that's it. I'm not a historian. I recently discovered a very nice history channel by Dr. Ruchika Sharma. So search for it. It's called Eye Makeup and Itihas. Eyeliner. Eye Makeup. I'm forgetting it, but something like that. Eye Makeup and Itihas by Ruchika Sharma. A very nice channel. So subscribe to it. Right. So before I proceed any further, let me just see if any other member comments are there. Okay. Let's see who all is here. Abhi says, I don't agree with definition of religion and usefulness versus truth part. Okay, let's take Abhi. Hi, Abhi.
Hi, Vimoh.
Hi. Are you the
Uh,
artist formerly known as something something?
Connecting
You
artist.
had a long, connect. Yeah, longer name. Yeah.
Correct, correct.
हाँ,
So I want. It's been a long time. मैं बहुत मतलब काफी समय से कोशिश कर रहा था लाइव आने की, लेकिन हो नहीं पा रहा था, क्राउड ज्यादा
कोई
था
बात
तो.
नहीं. You are here
ओके.
now. Tell me.
तो हाँ जी, तो मैं ये बोलना चाह रहा था कि जैसे आपसे एक बार बात हुई थी कि दो चीजों, 2 पॉइंट्स थे मेनली. एक पॉइंट
हम्म,
चैट पे था कि आपने बोला था कि हर कोई रिलीजन के यूजफुलनेस के अकॉर्डिंगली उसको, यूजफुलनेस के कारण उसको इम्बाइब करके फॉलो नहीं करता है. कुछ लोग
हम्म,
मतलब कंडीशनड होते हैं तो ऑटोमेटिकली वो एक मतलब एल्गोरिथम बना के फॉलो करते हैं, एल्गोरिथम बन जाता है उसको फॉलो करते हैं वो. तो
ये मैंने कहा था.
आपको हाँ जी, मतलब चैट काफी समय जब आपका वेडनेसडे का होता था जो चैट वाला,
अच्छा, हाँ।
उसमें आपने कहा
मुझे
था कि
याद नहीं
मतलब जरूरी
मुझे
नहीं है
याद
कि,
नहीं बट मुझे याद नहीं बट ओके, व्हाट्स द पॉइंट?
हाँ जी जी जी, तो मेरा ये मानना है कि आपको, मेरे को ये लगता है कि ये सही नहीं है। मेरे को लगता है कि जो अभी तक जो ये स्ट्रैटेजी चलते हुए आ रही है वो इसी कारण चलते हुए आ रही है क्योंकि लोगों को रिलीजन यूजफुल लगा है, मेरे हिसाब से,
हुँ,
मतलब मेरा ये
हुँ,
प्रपोजिशन है। और
हुँ,
दूसरा मेरा ये प्रपोजिशन है कि जैसे आपने एक बार बोला था कि रिलीजन को मतलब उसके जो टेक्स्ट हैं
हुँ,
उसको मतलब उसको अगर आप पढ़ाने में तवज्जो देते हो तो इट इज गुड। लेकिन मतलब मैं इसको अगर सही से फ्रेम करूं तो, जिसको पढ़ना है वो पढ़े, जिसको नहीं पढ़ना है वो नहीं पढ़े, किसी को फोर्स नहीं करना चाहिए, ऐसा बोला था आपने।
हुँ।
कि मतलब जिसको अगर कोई
मैंने ये
गीता
बोला था
पढ़ने
क्या?
चाहता है अपने घर में।
ये मुझे याद
हाँ
है कि
जी
मैंने
जी,
बोला था कि यू डोंट हैव टू, बट इफ यू वांट
हैव
यू
टू,
कैन।
हाँ, यू
या
यू कैन। तो मेरा ये कहना है कि मेरा ये प्रपोजिशन है, आप डिसएग्री करेंगे, बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं।
हुँ,
मैं ये बोला चाह
हुँ,
रहा था कि मेरे हिसाब से ज्यादा यूजफुल स्ट्रैटेजी तब होगी जब लोग उसके अपने रिलीजन को खुद जाके समझे बिना किसी दूसरे थर्ड पार्टी इंटरवेंशन के। क्योंकि
हुँ,
मेरे हिसाब से थर्ड पार्टी इंटरेक्शन जब होता है तो मिसअंडरस्टूड होने का चांस ज्यादा रहता है। मिस इंटरप्रेट, जैसे आपको मतलब देखा ही आपने कि इतने सारे लोग करते हैं, मिस इंटरप्रेट करते हैं। तो जैसा भी
हुँ,
उनका, जो भी उनका रिलीजन है, चाहे वो हिंदू है, मुस्लिम, कुरान, तो जब वो खुद पढ़ते हैं तो एटलीस्ट एक उनके पास मॉरल कंट्रोल रहता है। मेरा ये मानना है। क्योंकि तो
ओके।
मैं इस बात से अग्री नहीं करता कि मतलब मेरे, क्योंकि मेरे को लगता है कि अगर आप किसी को मतलब
आप
छोड़
एक
देंगे
सेकंड,
ऐसे ही लोगों को। जी जी
सेंटेंस
जी जी
सेंटेंस आधे
जी
में छूट गया। आप किस बात से एग्री नहीं करते?
जी, मैं वही बोल रहा था कि मैं इस बात से अग्री नहीं करता कि मतलब मेरे हिसाब से कि एक ये विल पे नहीं होना चाहिए। मेरे ख्याल से ये चीज लोगों को वो होनी चाहिए, मतलब रूटीन में होनी चाहिए कि लोग, जो लोग रिलीजन को फॉलो कर रहे हैं,
हुँ,
तो वो खुद से सोर्स को वो करें। मतलब
तो पर
मैं सही शायद फ्रेम नहीं, मैं
इट्स
फ्रेम नहीं
अप
कर
टू
पा रहा
देम
हूँ सही
राइट?
से जो बोलना चाह रहा
इट्स अप टू देम राइट?
हूं। जी जी जी, बिल्कुल, मतलब मैं ये बोलना
मैं
चाह
तो
रहा हूँ
वही
कि
कह
जैसे
रहा हूँ
जो,
ना, मैं वही कह रहा हूँ। मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि ये नहीं बोलना चाहिए कि उनको करना ही चाहिए। मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि अगर किसी को
जी
करना है
जी
तो कर सकता है, अगर नहीं करना तो ना करे।
जी, लेकिन
सो
मैं,
व्हाट आर यू
आपको लगता नहीं कि
डिसएग्रीइंग विद? आई
ज्यादा,
डोंट अंडरस्टैंड।
मैं फ्रेम नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ सही से, सॉरी। मैं ये बोलना चाह रहा हूँ कि ज्यादा फायदा उसमें है अगर वो लोग खुद से
किसमें?
वो करेंगे तो ज्यादा ज्यादा
पर
हार्म,
अगेन
मतलब कम
फ़ायदा
हार्मफुल
है
उसमें है।
फ़ायदा है, नहीं है, ये भी उनके ऊपर है ना।
नहीं, मतलब सोसाइटी को बोल रहा हूं मैं, जैसे क्योंकि लोग क्या होता है कि ज्यादा, जैसे अगर मान लीजिए कोई सेक्ट सोसाइटी में अंधविश्वास में बिलीव करता है बहुत ज्यादा, और
हुँ,
सुपरफिशियल बातों से लेके, मतलब जो लोग लड़ते हैं रिलीजन के नाम पे, वो सोसाइटी का ही वो डैमेज कर रहा है, सोसाइटी को ही डैमेज कर रहे हैं ना, बाय एंड लार्ज
हाँ,
देखेंगे तो।
हाँ।
तो अगर वो लोग अपने रिलीजन को अपने हिसाब से बिना किसी के भड़कावे में आके अगर खुद से समझेंगे तो ज्यादा एक रिलीजन को एग्जिस्ट कर पाएगा मेरे हिसाब से,
पर तब क्या होगा
ज्यादा
जब
बेटर
रिलिजन ही
चांस है।
बढ़ पर तब क्या होगा जब रिलिजन ही भड़का हुआ है?
तो जैसे मैंने बोला ना कि मेरे ख्याल से मॉरल कंट्रोल आपके हाथ में रहेगा ना, पता किसी, एटलीस्ट आपने किसी के बहकावे में आके कुछ भी नहीं बोला। जब मैं एग्जांपल देना चाहता हूँ, फॉर एग्जांपल,
हुँ, हुँ,
जैसे अभी बाबा बागेश्वर धाम जो है,
हुँ,
वो उन्होंने अपने किसी उसमें बोला कि गीता में लिखा है कि अहिंसा परमो धर्मा, धर्म पर धर्मो हिंसा तथैव च, मतलब
हुँ,
अहिंसा परम धर्म है लेकिन धर्म की रक्षा करने के लिए हिंसा करना उससे बड़ा धर्म है।
हुँ,
तो ये बात सबने ताली बजाई, लेकिन किसी ने चेक नहीं किया कि पूरी गीता में लिखी ही नहीं है ये बात।
हुँ।
तो ये बहुत ज्यादा डेंजरस हो जाता है। मैं
बट
इस
दैट वाज़
एग्जांपल को लेके ही बोलना
सी
चाह रहा हूँ।
यू गिव मी एन एग्ज़ाम्पल कि
जी जी
किसी ने किसी रिलिजियस टेक्स्ट को कोट किया और जो कोट किया वो गीता में नहीं था। पर
जी,
ऐसी भी चीज़ें हैं जो कि बहुत ही ज़्यादा घटिया हैं और हैं उसमें और लोग राइटली कोट करते हैं।
हाँ, मैं,
म
ये
म
बिल्कुल सही बात है कि
तो
बहुत सारी चीजें आउटडेटेड भी हैं।
हुँ,
तो मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ ना कि जैसे जैसे अगर मैं अपने मॉरल कंपस के हिसाब से मैं चीजों को अगर खुद से देखूंगा तो मेरा कंट्रोल मेरे हाथ में रहेगा ना। मैं ये बोलना चाह रहा
तो
हूँ। अगर किसी दूसरे के,
अगर कंट्रोल इवेंचुअली तुम्हारे हाथ में ही है और तुम
जी जी
पढ़ो और ना पढ़ो तुमको वही करना है जो तुम करोगे, तो वी रिटर्न टू माय पॉइंट राइट? इट्स एंटायरली अप टू पीपल। अगर कोई व्यक्ति अच्छा आदमी
जी
है और वो धार्मिक ग्रंथ
जी,
पढ़ता है और उसमें बहुत सारी घटिया चीज़ें पढ़ता है, वो अच्छा ही रहेगा। वो घटिया नहीं बन जाएगा, राइट? और
हाँ
अगर कोई
जी
आदमी
जी, सही
घटिया
बात
है और वो बहुत
है। जी
साफ-सुथरा अच्छा वाला रिलिजियस ग्रंथ पढ़ता है, तो भी वो घटिया ही रहेगा। नहीं,
जी, हाँ, लेकिन मतलब
चॉइस एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इज़ इन द हैंड्स ऑफ द
जी
पीपल, सो दे शुड डिसाइड इफ दे वांट टू रीड और नॉट।
जी, लेकिन मैं, मेरा स्टिल पॉइंट वही है कि मतलब ज्यादा हार्म का आपको लगता नहीं कि डेंजर ज्यादा इसमें है, जब कोई
किसमें?
बाबा आके या कोई कोई दूसरा आके आपको बता रहा है कि आपके रिलीजन के कारण क्या लिखा है और आप उसको चेक भी नहीं कर रहे हो कि वो सच
हाँ,
में
पर
है कि नहीं।
बाबा लिसन, अगर अगर कोई कहता है कि इस ग्रंथ में लिखा है कि लोगों को मारो, ठीक है?
जी जी
तो अगर तुमको किसी को नहीं मारना होगा, तो तुम उसको क्रॉस चेक करो या ना करो, कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, तुम वैसे भी नहीं मारोगे।
जी, लेकिन फिर लोग इमोशनली जुड़े रहते हैं रिलीजन से, तो मैं ये सोच के बोल रहा था, मतलब
हाँ,
मेरा
तो
ये
वो
उस
लोग
पे
तो
था।
वैसे भी मारेंगे, जो लोग इमोशनली जुड़े रहते हैं। अब देख द द कुछ लोग होते हैं जो कि बहुत ही ज़्यादा निरीह और नॉन वायलेंट होते हैं। तुम उनको
जी जी
हज़ार चीज़ें ट्रेनिंग कर दो, उनको मार्शल आर्ट्स की ट्रेनिंग दे दो, वो फिर भी किसी को नहीं मार पाएँगे। उनके अंदर वो वायलेंस होती ही नहीं है,
जी जी जी।
नहीं?
मैं से जी जी जी, मैं आपकी बात समझ रहा हूँ। आपने
हुँ।
ध्रुव राठी का वो रामायण वाला देखा था क्या? वीडियो आया था लास्ट
नहीं
उसका।
देखा, नहीं देखा। आई वांट टू बट आई हैवंट गॉटन अराउंड, मैं बहुत
जी
ट्रैवल कर रहा हूँ।
अच्छा अच्छा जी, उसमें उन्होंने भी ये मेरे सिमिलर पॉइंट उसने भी उठाया था कि मतलब
हुँ,
जो लोग राम के नाम पे किसके नाम पे दंगे मचाते रहते हैं, फालतू काम करते
हुँ,
रहते हैं, तो वो
हुँ।
लोग घटियापन कर रहे हैं। तो अपने धर्म को आप खुद से जानिए, खुद से पढ़िए, बनस्बत दूसरे के उससे भड़कावे में आके आप वो हो जाइए, मतलब क्रोधित हो जाइए,
अगेन
क्योंकि
अगेन जिसको
जी
जिसको
जी
पढ़ना है वो पढ़ सकता है, पर जिसको नहीं पढ़ना उसको नहीं ज़रूरत है।
जी
That remains my point. I maybe it's sounding repetitive. I want to get to
जी जी
an earlier point that you made, which was
जी
about you saying that religion was useful.
जी जी, मैं ये बोलना चाह रहा था कि
So
मेरे को
hold
ऐसा
on,
लगता
hold
है
on,
कि
hold on, hold on,
जी
hold
जी
on,
जी
hold on.
जी 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 जी
Describe to me what you mean by useful.
रिलीजन, जैसे आपने एक बहुत पहले वीडियो में बोला भी था कि रिलीजन एग्जिस्ट करता आया क्योंकि उसने यूजफुल एक पर्पस सॉल्व किया था, मतलब सर्व किया था। तो उसके
हुँ,
बाद हमने अपडेट किया, बहुत सारी चीजें लेके आए। लेकिन
हुँ,
पॉइंट बीइंग कि जो मॉरल कोड्स हम लेके आए रिलीजन के
हुँ,
बाद,
हुँ।
उस पे लोग बट नेचुरली इमोशनली उतने इन्वेस्टेड नहीं हुए जितना रिलीजन से हुए, जो लोग रिलीजन फॉलो करते हैं।
नहीं,
और
ऐसा नहीं
जहां
है,
तक
बहुत
ये
से लोग हुए। हम लोग नहीं हुए, हमारे देश में थोड़ा कम हुआ, पर
हाँ,
मैं इसलिए पूछ रहा था यूज़फुल का डेफिनिशन बिकॉज़ उसका कोई
जी
बहुत क्लियर मतलब नहीं है। एक ग्लास है, द ग्लास इज़
जी
यूज़फुल बिकॉज़ आई कैन पुट वाटर इन इट एंड आई कैन ड्रिंक इट। पर अगर वो ग्लास
जी,
स्टील का बना हुआ है तो मैं उसके किसी के सिर पे भी पीट सकता हूँ, उसको वेपन के रूप में यूज़ कर सकता हूँ। सो व्हेन यू से
अच्छा अच्छा,
यूज़फुल,
हाँ,
व्हाट
जी
आर
जी
यू
जी, मैं
टॉकिंग अबाउट? आर यू टॉकिंग अबाउट द
जी
यूज़ दैट रिलिजन इज़ मेंट फॉर और द यूज़ दैट पीपल पुट इट टू?
रिलीजन ने मेरे ख्याल से कैसे बोलूं मैं, हाँ, रिलीजन को अगर मैं बोलूं कि इट वाज मेंट फॉर बीइंग अ मॉरल कोड, राइट, मतलब जैसा जितना मैक्सिमम ने जाना कि मतलब एक मॉरल कोड के रूप में इंसान को कैसे एक राइट लाइफ जीना चाहिए, उसके लिए लोगों ने उस समय बनाया था, बहुत हजारों साल पहले जो भी बनाया था। तो उसका रिजल्ट मैं ये बोलना चाह रहा हूँ कि बहुत सारी जगह दिखा है कि जैसे मायो क्लिनिक की एक रिसर्च इसमें आया था कि रिलीजियस पीपल जो रिलीजियस और सुपर क्या बोलते हैं इसको, स्पिरिचुअल
हुँ।
स्पिरिचुअल इन्वॉल्वमेंट में रहते हैं, उनका हेल्थ आउटकम ज्यादा रहता है और एडिक्शन का चांस कम रहता है। और वैसे ही मेंटल हेल्थ के ऊपर भी ज्यादा उन्होंने किया था कि जैसे यूएस में जितने भी एनसीबीआई की रिपोर्ट थी कि 73% ऑफ द एडिक्शन प्रोग्राम्स जो है यूएस में, वो किसी न किसी रिलीजियस बेस्ड ट्रीटमेंट पे वो कर रहे हैं, वो लोग मतलब क्या यूज
हाँ,
कर रहे
सो
हैं।
उसके उसके काफ़ी क्रिटिसिज़म्स भी हैं, जैसे अल्कोहलिक एनोनिमस है, इट हैज़ अ वेरी
जी जी
स्ट्रॉन्ग क्रिश्चियन एलिमेंट। नाउ द क्रिटिसिज़्म इज़ दैट अगर कोई ईश्वर पे विश्वास को फाउंडेशन बना के दारू से दूर रहने की कोशिश करता है, तो
जी
वो रेत पे घर बनाने जैसा है क्योंकि ईश्वर का अस्तित्व नहीं है और तुम अपने आप को झूठ बोल के दारू पिलाने से रोक रहे हो। अगर उस बेसिस को बनाया जाए कि आई एम क्रिएटिंग हर्ट फॉर माय फैमिली एंड माय लव्ड वन्स, देन दैट्स अ बेटर फाउंडेशन बिकॉज़ दैट इज़ बेस्ड ऑन एक्चुअल हार्म बीइंग कॉज्ड टू एक्चुअल पीपल। कई लोग कहते हैं कि अगर तुम गॉड को बेसिस बनाओगे ना, तो वो
जी
अल्कोहलिक्स अनोनिमस वो जो तुम्हारा जो विथड्रॉल होता है अल्कोहल से, वो लास्ट नहीं करता,
जी
वो लौट आता है। सो इसके बारे में क्रिटिसिज़म्स हैं और दूसरी बात ये है कि अगर इस प्रकार के लॉजिक को देखा जाए, तो इस लॉजिक को भी
जी
देख लो कि ज़्यादातर लोग जो जेल में हैं, वो सब धार्मिक हैं, भगवान में विश्वास करते हैं। उससे क्या साबित होता है, राइट?
हाँ
बहुत
हाँ,
से लोग
बिल्कुल सही,
ये इसका इसका डायरेक्ट लिंक नहीं है, इसका डायरेक्ट लिंक नहीं हो सकता। हम एक सर्वे कर सकते हैं, पर वो जो कोरिलेशन है, वो हमेशा कॉज़ैलिटी नहीं होती। जो चीज़
कॉजालिटी
मैं
नहीं हो
पॉइंट आउट
सकती।
कर जो चीज़ मैं पॉइंट आउट करना चाहता था, वो ये है कि when you say religion is useful, it can mean
जी
multiple things. Maybe some people do find community in religion, but
जी बिल्कुल,
community is not something that they can find only in religion. Secondly, there may be people who don't believe in the religion, but they still find it useful because it gives them some benefits. Like अगर कोई
जी
अपर
जी
कास्ट
जी
है और भगवान को नहीं
जी
मानता है, पर अपने आप को ब्राह्मण
जी
बोलना कंटिन्यू करता है क्योंकि उसको ब्राह्मणगिरी के मज़े लेने होते हैं, राइट?
जी, जी,
ऐसे लोग होते हैं जो कि बहुत ज़्यादा फंडामेंटलिस्ट फैमिली में होते हैं, भगवान को नहीं
जी,
मानते हैं, बट दे डोंट टेल पीपल अबाउट इट। दे कीप टेलिंग पीपल दैट दे बिलीव इन गॉड, बिकॉज़ इफ दे डू टेल पीपल दैट दे डोंट बिलीव इन गॉड, लाइफ माइट बिकम डेंजरस फॉर देम। So in that way, you can
जी, जी,
describe religion as useful because religion is being useful to them, right?
जी, जी,
Simply because
करेक्ट।
it is being useful to people does not mean A, that it is good, or B, that it is necessary. That was my point when I said that.
ओके, सो ओके, ओके, आई गेट इट, आई गेट इट। मतलब
Mm,
मेरा ये कहना था कि अगर वो इतने, क्योंकि मैं इस पॉइंट पे जाके स्टक हो जाता हूँ। जैसे अगर मैं अपना स्टैंड पॉइंट, जैसा मैंने पहले बताया था कि मैं एग्नोस्टिक में उसमें आता हूँ, इसमें
mhm,
रखता हूँ, लेकिन मैं इस बात पे स्टक हो जाता हूँ आके कि जो वैल्यू सिस्टम हमारी होती है, तो उसमें क्या बोलते हैं उसको, कई लोग आप देखोगे कि बहुत ज्यादा नॉन नेगोशिएबल रहते हैं अपने वैल्यूज को लेके।
mhm,
बहुत ज्यादा, मतलब ये करना नहीं तो करना ही नहीं है। तो ये
mhm,
बहुत सारे रिलीजियस लोगों को देखा मैंने कि मतलब वो ये नहीं करेंगे तो नहीं करेंगे, मतलब ऐसा टाइप का
mhm,
रहता है। तो
mhm,
इसके हम काउंटर में क्या ला सकते हैं जिससे लोग अपने वैल्यूज के लेके नॉन नेगोशिएबल रहें, कि मतलब अगर मान लो फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे को ईमानदार रहना, तो कुछ भी हो जाए मेरे को रहना ही है ईमानदार। तो वो
mhm.
इमोशनल कनेक्ट कैसे जोड़ सकते हैं हम लोग इसके रिबटल में देखा जाए तो, कि
उसको
अगर मान
जोड़ने का
लो
50 उसको जोड़ने के 50 तरह के कारण हो सकते हैं। तुम लोगों को इमोशनल बहुत सारी चीज़ों से कर सकते हो। तुम लोगों को इमोशनल करने का ये तरीका ढूँढ सकते हो कि तुम उनको उन चीज़ों के बारे में फ़िल्में दिखाओ। बहुत से लोग प्रो इज़राइल इसलिए हो गए थे क्योंकि उन्होंने शिंडलर्स लिस्ट देखी थी। इस टाइप की चीज़ें। सो पॉइंट ये है कि बीइंग नॉन नेगोशिएबल इज़ नॉट ऑलवेज़ अ गुड थिंग, राइट?
करेक्ट,
It is
करेक्ट,
seen
करेक्ट।
it is seen as something good because sometimes when we see it being employed for good. नहीं, मैं अपने से
जी,
ज़्यादा दुर्बल लोगों पे अत्याचार नहीं होने दूँगा, चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए। दैट्स गुड।
जी,
पर
जी,
नहीं, मैं अपनी बेटी को स्कूल नहीं जाने दूँगा, चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए। दैट्स बैड। So, being non-negotiable about in general is not necessarily a good thing. It depends what you apply it to,
अग्रीड।
and what we apply it to has to be seen through the lens of harm. Are we creating harm for people or are we creating good for people?
गुड फॉर पीपल।
Yeah,
ओके, बस यही बोलना था।
cool.
और
अभी can I
सर
move
एक
on to
सेकंड
the
में।
next caller? काफी टाइम हो गया।
ओके,
It's
ओके,
has
ओके,
been
ओके, ओके,
cool.
ओके, ओके, सॉरी
Thank
सर।
you.
ओके,
Talk to you again. Bye.
थैंक यू सो मच। बाय।
सो दैट वाज अभी। जो भी क्यू में है प्लीज़ प्राइवेट चैट में जाके मुझे बताओ किस बारे में बात करनी है, तब तक मैं कुछ कमेंट्स देख लेता हूँ। अमित मैथ्यू, थैंक यू फॉर द $10। अमित सेज विमो चाय और कॉफ़ी, चाय, चाय। समटाइम्स चाय इज़ रियली बैड एंड कॉफ़ी बिकम्स द अल्टरनेटिव, बट चाय, ऑलवेज़ चाय, चाय फॉरएवर। मनमीत, थैंक यू फॉर द ₹19 सुपर स्टिकर, मच अप्रिशिएटेड। थैंक यू वेरी मच। The next caller, or rather the person in, hold on. Mm. Okay, Dragoons had to leave. Dragoons is gone. Uh, let's see. Let's take Rahul. Hi, Rahul. What's up?
Hey Vimoh, hope everything's going well. Hope you're Hyderabad.
Everything is going well. Yes.
I missed the
बताइए क्या
last
चल रहा
call.
है?
Yeah,
All you good?
actually, yeah, sorry. Excuse me if my connection is a bit here and there. I'm not getting
Mm-hmm.
this thing good. So I wanted to think about talk about atheism in a positive building mindset. Like one example I'll give you, like people who generally believe in God, right? Like whenever
Mm-hmm.
they have to grapple with negative situations in their life, one recommended tip for them is like always be grateful for what you have. Okay. uh,
Mm-hmm.
so far that being grateful for what you have, being grateful for this thing, I've seen it, they only manifest it as I thank God that I have this. I thank some deity, some brahman, some consciousness. I have to thank them for letting me have this. And since I want to be atheist and I don't want to be beholden to any religious structure, uh, how can I convert this gratefulness concept into something that is atheism friendly? Like, or maybe I'm looking at it wrong. I'm not sure. Like, I mean, the
What
idea
is
is
it?
like,
What is it that you're looking to do? You're looking to talk to them about this.
no, not talk to them, like as a personal philosophy. Like, like the
Oh,
thing
okay.
is now when I'm being grateful for something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like let's say I lost my wallet. Okay. and then I have to say, oh, I am grateful that at least I have my life intact or something like that, you know.
Hmm.
And then I always think it in terms of theistic terminal, you know, thank God, or you know, that
Hmm.
thing.
Got it.
So like,
So you're
so
saying
how
what
do
you
I?
can do
What
as
is
an
a?
atheist, if not that, what you can do as an atheist.
I mean, like, I always associate the concept of gratefulness with that of being religious minded. So
Hmm.
how do I view it in an atheistic mindset?
Well, that's an interesting question. I suppose that it is like, I think you have asked at least one question like this in the past also, like how to let go of theistic baggage.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right? Yeah. I think that's a common theme in your question so far because you appear to be struggling with it a lot. I would suggest don't worry too much about it. If a religious person who believes in God A ends up being thankful towards God B, they will think, oh my God, what did I do? Right?
Okay.
God does not exist. You don't believe in God. What are you worried about? If you felt an impulse of gratitude towards an imaginary entity, how does it matter?
Uh, yeah, that is
I
there.
mean, we use oh my God in language. Nothing changes as a result of it. You think, oh, I'm thankful towards God. Nothing changes. You know it's false, right? So
Yeah,
it's
but I.
really not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm. But like, what to say? I have used gratefulness so far when I used to believe in religion, and I still use it even now. And like,
Hmm.
I would like to continue using it because it has been immensely helpful in my personal
Create
life.
an maybe
So
maybe you can try creating an imaginary friend towards whom you can channel that gratitude.
yeah,
As
well,
long
I'm
as
a
you
big,
don't believe they're real, it's okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm a
because the
big
difference
superhero
you
fan.
realize, right? A religious person says, "Oh God," and you say, "Oh God." There is a difference. The common thing between you guys is not that you use the word God. The difference is that they believe in it and you don't.
So it's kind of like a leftover construct rather than
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah,
that
yeah.
has
It'll eventually.
inherent meaning.
It'll if you stop worrying about it, it will go away eventually. I think you're holding on to it. You're worrying about it too much.
That is the okay. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. I mean, a thing only has value as long as you believe in it. So, like, if you
Yes,
change the
and you don't
meaning,
believe in it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, it's just the thing. Like, I use it and I get along with my day with it. So, yeah, it doesn't
yeah.
mean I believe in it or something like that. It's
I'm
just a
sure you have
leftover.
bigger problems, right? Focus on them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, sometimes these small things only linger in the back of the head, right? Whether I'm doing it,
Hmm.
I mean, whether I am true to my belief or not. So,
Hmm.
like, it's nice to say, ask someone, okay, do you also believe in that? So it's nice to get that affirmation back, you know.
Yeah, it happens to everyone. Like I am someone who writes fiction, right? And a lot
Huh.
of characters in my stories are gods and demons and stuff. It's okay because I do know that they do not exist. I use them as characters.
Hmm.
So we should not treat like we should not create these things that as an atheist thou shalt not think these thoughts, because then you will think those thoughts and it just keeps on making your life worse as because you're, oh my God, I said God, oh my God, I thought about religion, oh my I ate at a festival. Stop worrying about it so much. Eat the food, and you know that you don't believe in it because there is no reason to believe in it. But you also
Yeah.
realize that you live in a society where language and culture and a lot of behaviors that we engage in have been
Hmm.
influenced by religion. And you
Hmm.
cannot create an alternate culture. Maybe among atheists you can, but for the most part, you live among normal people. I mean, common people who believe in God and use that kind of language. So don't worry about it that much.
Yeah, I mean, like, last time we talked about language, and this time we're talking about a moral experience or a life
Yeah.
experience. So
Yeah.
basically, the concepts apply in both. I mean, like what you said, right? Not to take anything too
Hmm.
much to heart. It is just a verbal
Essentially, we're
construct and
still,
not. Yeah.
essentially, I think we're still kind of talking about language. That was language you were speaking to other people. This is language that you're using when speaking to yourself.
Huh. I mean, yeah, yeah, yeah. True,
Nah,
true, true. Yeah. Sorry about the
it's very
repeated things.
surface
I
level.
mean, yeah,
No
yeah.
issues, no issues.
Yeah,
Chalo.
this is why I come here and get this sort of. So it's very nice to
You're most
get.
welcome. You're most
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah. All right, I'll leave. I'll leave and let the others also talk. Thanks a lot,
Cool.
Vimoh.
Thanks, Rahul.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was Rahul. People, everyone who's in the queue, please go to the private side chat section and tell me what you want to talk about. Like, write a couple of lines about your topic. Let's see, who's this? Uh, okay, Rishabh Verma. Hi, Rishabh, you're online. Go on.
Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, you're audible. Go on.
Yeah, Vimoh, I'll keep my story short. So what happened was I was going through my first breakup, but then turned towards alcoholic and stuff. Instead, turned toward religion. Paratha,
Oh,
हाँ मम्मी रख
okay.
दो please. Yeah, I'm having my dinner. Sorry for that.
It's okay. Yeah,
So
it's
then,
dinner time.
yeah, so didn't turn towards alcohol or drugs, but instead went towards religion. So started reading Bhagavad Gita or the ISKCON version, and yeah, pretty much whatever they said was accepting, because they put a point that Atma exists karti hai, but that is so infinitely small that you cannot test for it, and it's not made up of any material or atom. It's something of a divine nature, and I believed
Hmm.
it, and I just went on. And like, when you put the base which you cannot prove, you can start building upon it up and up. So what was
Hmm.
happening was, now the thing comes, um, when they were saying that you will chant the holy name and you will feel the bliss, I was actually feeling the bliss. And there came a moment where I literally convinced myself that I am in love once again, but this time the love
Hmm.
is divine. And
Hmm.
it was happening like, one day I was like, I was trying to sleep and I didn't know what to do. I started chanting the name, and
Hmm.
I started feeling happiness. I started feeling the bliss. So that was happening to me, and I was seeing this. I was going more and more into it. But one day, things kind of started fading out, and I started, going extremely, like more extremely into it. Like maybe getting up every morning, chanting the name more
Hmm.
intensely. One would say, nothing happened. Eventually, things started settling down. I came back to my original self, and then my perspective is that what I was feeling is because I wanted to feel that. Maybe I wanted love in my life,
Yeah.
I guess. And maybe I wanted a sense of belonging. So maybe I convinced myself that I loved. So ultimately, I guess it was a placebo.
Hmm. Kind of. Are you okay now? Like, how long ago was this?
Oh yeah, that was, I guess, more than a year or so. Like, being from a science background, like I had
Hmm.
science, maths, and it was really my subject. So like
Hmm.
wanted to deconstruct it, because what was happening is I can still say that it was real.
Hmm.
Like, I felt the happiness. Now my question is, why was it happening? So this why my answer to it is that it's placebo, because maybe I wanted to feel like that. But what could be your
Usually,
perspective?
breakup in a relationship pushes people towards different lifestyles or towards
Yes.
things that they have never done before. And if you are not a
Uh-huh.
heavy duty religious person before that, it is not really surprising that you moved towards it, because religion is always accessible. It's all around us. Your family has it, society has it, some of your friends may have it. Even if nobody has
Mm-hmm.
it, you're walking down the street, you see a temple, etc. The number of places where you
Yeah.
can get religion is not small. So it's not really surprising that you went into it. I am a little worried about the fact that you went towards ISKCON of all things. But okay, okay. As long as you're out of it, it's okay. As you said, it's a
Yeah.
placebo. It's a someone occupies all your thoughts, and now they're
Mhm.
gone, and you don't know what to do with your mind. So you find something else to occupy, and because you were so obsessed with that one person, religion becomes the replacement. You are completely taken by it.
Yeah. I even went to Mathura and other places as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just for that. Would have never done that otherwise.
yeah.
Yeah.
There are so
So
many stories
that.
of people who say, I did not believe in God before, but then there was a tragedy in my life and I found Jesus. Like atheist experience, where almost every week somebody comes and their main argument is that I did not believe in God, but was an alcoholic and a drug addict and stuff. And they were at a point in life where they were looking for meaning and religion was
Mhm.
available. So
Hmm.
that's where they went. Yeah.
So Come to think of it, I kind of declared myself as an atheist who love gods because I have experienced that love which one can have for the deity. And well, if someone is loving, maybe that's better than, yeah, if someone is loving his belief, then I guess it's better than other things which can be done by being extremist, I guess.
Mm. Yeah.
So
I mean, what's more
yeah,
extremist than love?
beautiful, beautiful.
But at least we're not hurting people by it.
Yeah, at least you're not hurting. As a human being, one wants love. Yeah.
Yep.
So really wanted to just let this, like, I had this theory going on and I had no one to talk to it about. Like
Hmm.
literally no one actually.
You're most
There's
welcome.
one of my, yeah, but there is one of my friend. Right now I'm not in contact with him, so I guess found a friend in you. But
Mm.
anyway, आप भी dinner कर लेना. And just before going, one thing I want to ask: do you play chess?
I do play chess.
Oh yeah, maybe live stream it someday. I would love to watch you
Maybe,
play.
maybe. Pranav
Thank you,
has been
Vimoh.
asking me. Pranav wants to play chess and play chess with me. I said, please, I don't want public humiliation. I'm not good at it. You do a live chess stream. I'll join, play a game with you, lose, and back off. But I won't show my face because I look really weird. Like I make faces like this one
Oh,
when playing this, and I
oh
don't
my,
want people to see that. Take
oh
that.
my God.
You eat
Well,
your dinner, Rishabh. Can I move on to the next caller?
yeah, sure, sure. Thank you for being
Cool.
so helpful and insightful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Most welcome. Bye bye. Oh shit. I almost. Oh, I accidentally added Surya while removing Rishabh. Hi Surya, what's up?
Hey, Vimoh, I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you, but wait 1 second.
Okay.
Let me just thank Animation for the 100 rupees. Animation says Armin published Kali's blasphemous art, and I thought it was a good step towards transitioning to blasphemy immune society. What do you think of this? Yeah, so it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to rile people up, then sure, it's a great move. But if your goal is to have a conversation with people in a reasonable environment and have them change their mind, maybe not so much. That is my position on this. I do think that he has every right to publish any kind of art that he wants to. But if the people he wants to reach out to get angrier and move away from him, then that's not the goal I personally go for. That is why that is not the approach I also take with it. That's my question. That's my response to that. But thank you, Animation, for the 100 rupees. Huh. Go on, Surya.
Yeah. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear
I
you.
might get like there might be some problems, so apologies for that. Anyways, so
Hmm.
the other day I was seeing your videos. Like I was seeing like your Hindu atheist videos,
Hmm.
particularly your conversations with Neo Chawak. And in the
Hmm.
comment section of one of those videos, I saw someone who said, "I consider the word Hindu to be an ethnic identifier, much like the word Jew."
Hmm.
So it made me wonder, like what do you make of this?
Is it an ethnic identifier?
It's not.
Yeah. So what difference does it make what they consider it to be? When we talk
Yeah,
about the word
right.
Hindu or we talk about Hinduism, we have a common definition that if you go out on the road and ask people what is Hindu, they will say it's a religion, right?
Yeah.
Because
Like
this tactic is weird. Like you'll say, I don't believe in God, and then someone will come and say, but I consider this battery to be God, and then you're like, no, but that's not what most people mean when they say God, right? The word
right,
exists; it has a commonly accepted definition. You not wanting to talk about the ramifications of that and changing the definition to something else is neither here nor there. Who cares what they think?
right. Like okay. So would you say the same about Judaism also? It like would you define Judaism like Jew like the term Jew in
Hmm.
as like what to say pertaining to someone who's a follower of Judaism, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because I've noticed like because there is like a lot of confusion around that.
Hmm.
Some people
Hmm.
like them actually there are many people, most
I
in fact, most.
honestly, my position on that is I'll let the Jews figure it out. I don't really care
Okay,
about it. I know what
okay,
the like, making an analogy between a religious identity in the subcontinent and a religious identity that has never been in the subcontinent and has quite a different history in order to get where it is today. I don't think the analogy fits perfectly. because there are people who call themselves Christian atheists, and I don't agree with that label either. There are people who call themselves
Right.
Jews and say that Jew definitely does not mean believing in God. And then there are people who define Jew as the Orthodox Jews, who define
Yeah.
Jew as definitely believing in God. And I'll let them figure it out. It's no, it's not my problem.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, wait, one second, I've written it here. Yeah. So like I wonder how, like, let's say like we're in a debate with someone who's very like openly anti-science. Like, how do
Hmm.
we defend science in front of them?
Point out that they use science,
Right.
right?
And what if they're sort of nuanced about it? Let's say like they say stuff like science is mostly fake. There are some things which science did good, but otherwise it's bogus.
Ask them to break it down. Like, what is fake?
Right.
Which part of science is fake? Maybe they will point to something valid, right? So have a more
Right.
detailed conversation. Like, there is not going. I'm not going to be able to give you a response to science is mostly fake. What do they mean by it?
Okay.
That's
Understood.
one of the reasons I do the live stream, right? So that I don't have to respond to one line questions, so that I can actually do it to back and forth with people.
Right. Okay.
Because a
And
lot of these
my
things are so convoluted, you can't get to a simple answer.
yeah, I know. And finally, wait one second, it's here. Yeah.
Hmm.
So the like a lot of these like very like Juggies fans, they often like I've noticed some of them like I think a lot of them say that if you like towards people who criticize Sadhguru, right? They say that they're against him personally, or that
Hmm.
they're like trying to defame him and
Hmm.
his image. Like I've noticed that. Like
Hmm. Yeah,
how do
yeah.
we deal with such criticism then?
You well, what was the criticism you made that caused them to say this to you? Because there are people who'll criticize Sadhguru just because of his dadi or his dancing, right? And there are
Right,
people who will criticize Sadhguru for the things he says and the arguments he makes. There's a difference. I don't personally think that it is a good idea to make fun of people's accents or appearance or uh, the way they speak, etc. But there are plenty of people who do that. But if
right,
someone is criticizing Sadhguru's arguments or the illogical things that he says, then that's totally valid. You point out, yeah, I have not insulted him personally at all. And if they persist in calling it defamation, just stop talking with them. You can clearly see what I said, and it was not about him, it was the thing that he said. If someone else had said the same thing, I would have said the same thing. So if you
right.
persist in calling it defamation, you're clearly not an honest conversation, honest correspondent.
Got it. And
Hmm.
and a suggestion before I go. You said something like I think you that there was a good line there. Something about love. I think what's more extreme than
What's
love?
more extremist than
You know
love?
that
Yeah.
that's a good merch. That's a good like sort of thing to put on your merch. Maybe next. I would love to see like
It should come from a live streamer who gives relationship advice. Coming from me, it will just sound like, what does he mean? Is this a way to make me
hey,
lose
but
my
it's
relationship?
that's okay, right? I mean, we are here to spread love anyways, right? It would
Yeah.
be a good idea. Good job. Just saying. Anyways, thank you,
What's
man.
more extremist than love? Okay. I'm not even sure if I'm the first person to say it. Maybe I should Google and check.
Yeah. Okay. All right, man.
ठीक है.
Yeah. See you. Thanks.
Yep. Bye bye.
Bye.
That was Surya. Let me just. Uh, okay. Who's next? Okay. Let me, for a change, take someone who disagrees with me. And let's take Saikat. Hi, Saikat.
Hey, hi, Vimoh. Am I audible?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, hi. This is probably this is my first time talking to you on this live, and I have been watching your show for quite some time. I
Hmm.
previously I used to since 2016-17 I used to watch the Atheist Experience and all those shows, Western shows, and I
Hmm.
always kind of thought that similar shows does not exist for the Indian audience that
Hmm.
discuss about Hinduism and stuff. So it is a very I was like surprised a little bit to see uh, a host of content that is available on YouTube that criticize the Eastern religion and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, uh, probably because of YouTube algorithm, I don't know. I previously didn't get on in this bandwagon. However,
Okay.
you just discussed about the with the last caller. You were discussing that the radical art and stuff, the blasphemy
Mm.
art, that is
Mm-hmm.
not really useful when you are trying to have a meaningful conversation uh, with somebody. If you want to change somebody's mind, and the
Mm.
point you are trying to make probably is that they will back down on their opinion
Mm.
more if
Double
you
down.
are, yeah, they will double down on their opinion.
Mm.
However, just imagine today's scenario. In today's
Mm.
India, if you talk about even maybe if you talk about democracy, if you talk about
Mm.
constitutional values,
Mm.
people who talk about those things which are not even considered anyway radical, they are mostly
Yeah.
liberal and centrist, who talk
Mm.
about democracy and stuff. Even
Mm.
they nowadays are termed many a times as anti-national,
Mm.
anti-Hindu, etc.
Yeah.
My point is that we see a rise of the radical right, the radical Hinduism, and the Overton window that we call is shifted so much to the right that even liberal ideas nowadays are termed as extreme left, etc.
Yeah.
So to counter that, probably we need radical thinking, radical extremism, or uh, radical thought that definitely uh, definitely tries to shift the Overton window somewhat towards the left, so that uh, talking about constitutional values, talking about this democracy, talking about atheism, uh,
Mm.
does not feel like that we are does not feel like that we are doing something so much radical. Like, you understand my thought?
I
To
get it. I get it.
Yeah. So, what's
Can
your
I?
thought on that?
Yeah. So I think what you're doing there is that you're equating a radical response with a disrespectful response. Am I right?
Maybe I'm doing that. Maybe yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have every right to do so. And I do think there is value in disrespect and discontent as far as spreading the word and creating the narrative is concerned. What I was talking about is talking to individuals. If you put out blasphemous art, you will create waves in society and many people will look at you. And maybe that is a good thing because you have something to say that most people don't listen to. But when you're talking to individuals, you will find that mockery will drive people away. Sure, there are people who are never going to change, and I would advise not even engaging with them. But when you find someone who is looking for an answer, and everywhere they went, like there are people who are like religious or who want to change their mind, but every atheist they talk to just made jokes about God, and they come to the conclusion that that's all we have. We just have jokes about God or mockery of their prophet or their guru or their messiah or their whatever saint. So to when you're dealing with such people, it is better, in my opinion at least, because I've been doing this for a couple of years and I'm only speaking from my experience. It is entirely possible that other people who do this have a different set of experiences, and I'm not questioning that. I'm just saying that in my experience, mockery drives people away, and a much more radical and revolutionary way of doing things is to be calm with them, because that's not something they expect. They don't expect logic, they don't expect discourse, they come expecting a jhagada. I'll give you examples of calls if I could remember them, because I'm old and don't remember. But I have had callers who came with the intention of a jhagada. And I said, you have an opportunity to speak with me and make the best case for your religion. Do you really want to do this? And they changed their minds. And we had I mean, they didn't change their minds, but at least during the course of that conversation, we had a civil conversation. And then the people come back. I do not think that people's minds can be changed in one go. But if the first blow you deliver is mockery, the chances of them never coming back are higher. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, you definitely have a point. Thank you
Yeah.
for talking with me, and I'll definitely think about your point. Yeah, thank you.
Second. Thank you, Second. Bye bye. So, again, everyone. Sorry for moving Sakat to the top of the queue. Let me make some space. I'll remove some people who have already spoken. Um, okay, that was. Let's take Soumya Jadhav. Hi, Soumya.
Hello. Can you hear
Hello.
me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you speak a little louder or come closer to your phone?
Yeah, sure. Now, is it better?
Yeah, much better, much better.
Okay, so first of all, thank you. And thank you for not just doing these streams, but also influencing me in thinking more rationally about things.
Okay,
I will
much
always be
appreciated.
grateful for that to you, always. So, my thing is, when we talk about elderly people,
Hmm.
about something sensible, they sometimes really go to the radical ways and behave differently. So, how do we counter that?
They don't listen to what you're saying. What is it that you say to them that they don't listen to?
Like, for example, Ayurveda.
Okay.
So, I am a firm believer that sometimes it's good to have remedies like haldi and ginger and stuff like that. But then again, when it comes to like more major diseases, like if you have a kidney stone, you can't just rely on Ayurveda, right?
Hmm.
You really need modern practices to eradicate that disease.
Yeah.
So when I talk to an elderly person about that,
Hmm.
I they come to radical terms like, what do you know, how much life do you have you seen, and stuff like that. How do
These
I
are
counter
elderly
that?
people in your family?
Yeah, sure, I don't want
Okay.
to so that's why.
Yeah, no, that's actually, in my experience, I have found that if you talk to your dad or your grandfather, they're less likely to
Hmm?
listen to you. But if you get
Yeah,
a
sure.
friend of yours, if you get a friend of yours to talk to them, they might listen more. So
Hmm.
if your friend is having similar problems and you go
Hmm.
talk to their parents, this is like that
Yeah.
Justice League episode, right, where Brainiac. Do you watch cartoons?
I don't watch cartoons, but I know the characters of DC and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm into
So
comics.
so what happened is that Superman and Batman are the heroes and Brainiac is the villain, and Brainiac created clones of Superman and Batman. And Superman's clone was Superman was fighting his clone and Batman was fighting his clone. And they couldn't
Yeah.
defeat them because they were exactly well matched, right? So Batman
Hmm.
suggested, let me fight the Superman clone and you fight my clone. And that is how they won. So
Oh.
I think this is a good strategy because the elders in our families have seen us grow up, right? It is very
Yes.
hard for them to see us as sources of information or wisdom. So
Hmm.
that is going to be a hard battle to win. There are people who will listen, but sometimes when they don't, maybe try changing the clone. Like you fight your friend's opponent and have
Okay.
your friend fight your opponent.
Yes, sure. I'll try and do that next time. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to share with you is that sometimes when you enter a temple,
Hmm.
you feel a vibe. I don't know what it
Hmm.
is, and I don't
Hmm.
believe exactly that God exists,
Hmm.
but you do feel a little pious atmosphere, if I may say.
Hmm. Okay.
Why does that happen? Is it just because of the psychology that the people around you are all like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so
afraid
yeah.
that's all there is.
Yeah, no,
if you
I
if
what
you've grown up in a family, then you already have
hmm,
certain mental models of what religion represents. It's about
hmm,
purity, it's about respect, it's about all of that. It's not, but that's what we have been told, right? So when
yes.
we enter a religion, those that entire childhood conditioning is at work.
Okay, yes, sure. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you,
That's
Soumya.
all.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. That was Soumya. Let's see who else. Hmm. Okay, I think Saikat has come and gone. Wait, Saikat had two topics, but I think he only spoke about one. But it's okay, we can take Saikat later. Uh, let's take who's this? And people, why are you sending me links in the private chat? Don't send me links. Biswaroop says, okay, let's take Biswaroop. Hi, Biswaroop.
Hi, Vimoh. How are you?
Hey, good, good. What's up?
Yeah. So I wanted to discuss I have written that comment, right? Whether humans are inherently good or evil.
Hmm.
So I think I had a chat last week where I told that, like, I commented that humans are basically good, but the bad behavior is learned. So you commented that you have a book. You referred one book by John Gray, I think, of not Stray Dog. What was that?
Stray, Straw
Straw
Dog.
Dog, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So I did not go through the book, but
Hmm.
I read read some reviews of that book,
Hmm.
and it seems like he's a conservative, right-wing uh,
Is he?
intellectual
Because
who,
when I read
yeah,
his book, I had no idea about these things, and I just thought of his book as a work of
okay,
pessimistic philosophy. Yeah.
okay, but yeah, so he's pretty pessimistic. He's a like I mean, he's a known intellectual. He's not a like uh,
Not a
he's a
loony.
known and like he's a how do I say, like, influential person, and he has some good um, viewpoints or solid viewpoints.
Hmm.
But there are a lot of people who disagree with him. So I read the reviews, but what I want to give my view, like, I just I have not read the book, but I have read about the reviews of another book which is written by Franz de Waal, I think.
Okay.
He's a primatologist.
Hmm.
He studies mainly chimpanzees and monkeys and all. So what
Okay.
is his view is like this empathy. Empathy is inherent in all primates or even
Yeah.
mammals,
Yeah.
and humans it is very much developed.
Hmm.
Okay, so by default humans are empathetic, and like that empathy feeling is already there, and it is because of the empathy we have developed, we have grown up, we have
Got it. Got it.
evolution. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I think humans are inherently good, because they are
Okay.
empathetic. And he has, in that book, he has given many examples, like how monkeys uh, like help other monkeys, or chimpanzees help other chimps, or even
Yeah.
gorillas
The
and all.
problem, the point is empathy is kind of context independent, right? Like you have empathy as a characteristic, and yet you can be empathetic towards people of your family while being cruel to other people. You can be
Yeah,
empathetic towards people of your religion while being insensitive towards people of another religion. Empathy can be manipulated. There is something called anarchy, right? Anarchism, which is the
yeah,
idea that there are systems which cause us to be insensitive and cruel and apathetic. And if these systems are not there, and if human beings were at their most base level, then the world will not
yeah.
have the problems it has right now. But then there is the
I
problem of
consider
social
myself as an I consider
anarchist.
myself as an anarchist. Yeah,
Okay, okay. I think if I was more optimistic like you, I could also be an anarchist, but I'm not. I've seen people do horrid things. Like, right wingers are empathetic towards the suffering of other right wingers, but that does not
yeah,
make many of them good people. So, empathy, like in a world without systems or without, empires and structures that divide us into consumers and people from this nation and that nation or something like that, maybe what you say can come true, but I have a problem imagining such a world, because we are always going to, like, you spoke of apes. Apes are empathetic, but apes are also tribal
yeah.
creatures. We are like apes, we are tribal creatures, we will always create tribes, and whenever we create tribes we will try to steal resources and we will be cruel. So I'm not that optimistic.
Okay, so my argument is that so I am not denying that there is no evil. Obviously, there are so many evils. There are so many bad people. But
Hmm.
why are people bad? Like we are arguing whether inherently we are evil or good. So what makes people evil? So basically, the bad
In that
people,
case, maybe define what you mean by good.
good is empathetic. Like
Ah,
we feel
so
for
so
others. We are
so
feeling for others. We are feeling
so
bad means
when you have a clear definition of good like that, sure, you can say that we are inherently good. But I am not
Hmm.
convinced that empathy alone makes people good. And I don't know what will. That's my
Okay,
problem.
so like uh, so you are saying empathetic people can be bad.
Yes, they can be
Okay.
empathetic towards some people,
Hmm.
but when their bond with those people grows and they become a tribe, that same empathy will cause them to be bad to people who are not part of that tribe.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
And I think other than the psychopaths, like
Hmm.
psychopaths are people who don't feel any empathy for others.
Hmm. Hmm.
Other than maybe 2% to 5% people, or maybe even less people are psychopaths. Like they don't feel any empathy for, like in general, they don't feel any empathy for others. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
other than that, 95% people are empathetic. And
Hmm.
when they do something bad
Hmm.
to others, so
Hmm.
that also they justify themselves, like they are basically resolving the trolley problem for them. Like if I do that
Yeah.
bad to these people, it will be good for our people,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
why that happens? That happens because of, mostly, like in a very basic way, if we want to say, like it is because of resources, land, or uh, partner, sexual partner, and all those things. Like because
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
resources, because of
Yeah.
when
So
there are lack
maybe
of resources.
maybe let me propose this. If we are ever in a post scarcity world, you've heard this phrase,
Yeah.
post scarcity. Maybe in a post scarcity world, we can all be
Yes.
anarchists and revert back to the good nature that you just referred to. If our reliance on resources can be reduced to zero, maybe that can come true. I am personally not sure how that can happen.
Yeah. So that's what. Like if you read the anarchist or even Marxist literature, like
Hmm.
Karl Marx's communism, he talked about these things.
Hmm.
Like communism is actually basically anarchy society, and even anarchists like Bakunin, Kropotkin, all those uh, philosophers, they
Hmm.
were of the view that when we achieve this post scarcity
Hmm.
world, basically we will be able to achieve like that kind. We can remove the state. Everything
Yeah.
will be like
The
cooperation.
only the
Everything will be
only
run by cooperation.
I don't disagree with
Yeah.
you. The only difference between you and me is that you say when we achieve such a society, and I say if we achieve such a society.
Yeah, definitely. I'm also not like I don't think that we will achieve that, but we may like work on that.
It is good to have. It's
And
good to have hope. It's good to have hope. Is
yeah,
all I'm
and I
saying.
think I think as an atheist, we
Hmm.
should have that hope. Otherwise, like it will become we need some authority, we need some god, we need
Yeah.
somebody to like basically behind us a whip, carrying a whip to lead us into the good path of goodness,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So I
Yep.
think as an atheist we should believe in that. And okay, so I have another point, another topic. Do we
Vishnu,
want to discuss
Vishnu,
it today? Yeah.
we kind of running a little short on time, and there are a few people left. So is it okay if we talk about this next week?
Yeah, sure. Thank
Cool.
you.
Thank you. Bye bye. That was Biswarup. Let me just ask chat one question. I have been trying to write a story where such an utopian anarchist society exists, but utopias are notoriously difficult to write because there is always a dark side to them. Have you read any science fiction novel where the future is anarchist and institutions and nations, etc., don't exist? If you have, please recommend the book to me. I'll try to get my hands on it and read it. I remember some books being there, but I was in high school. I had a small gray blue notebook and I had written down the names of several science fiction novels in it. One of them I remember had an anarchist future. I cannot remember the name. So if you can help me out, I'll be grateful. Let's take, how many people are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we are already at 1 hour 10 minutes. Chalo, ठीक है, कर लेंगे. Let me just take a look at the chat and right. किधर है? Let's take Misfit Contrarian. Hi, Misfit.
Hello.
Hello. What's
Hi.
up?
What's up? First of all, it's so great to talk to you. Huge fan of your work.
Thanks, man.
And I really love the book that you recommended by Nicholas Carr. I've been reading it.
The Shallows.
The Shallows, and it's really
Yeah.
fantastic. It's really changing my mind about a lot of stuff.
Great.
So actually, I wanted to talk to you about critical thinking. You know, I am
Mhm.
myself, I'm from a science background, and I have friends who have become scientists, you know, physicists, and so on and so forth. And basically, my issue here is that, you know, I feel like science itself is sort of this form of power. And, you know, as atheists, you know, as rationalists, when we talk to people who maybe don't believe in science, we always say, okay, the scientific consensus is this, you know, and that's the best guess we have at reality. So this is what you should believe. But then I have been noticing this trend within science itself where, you know, so I want to give you two examples of this. The first one is there's this book called The Structure of Scientific Revolutions by Thomas Kuhn.
Okay.
And he talks about this particular incident where when William Röntgen discovered X-rays, the current sort of like the current model of electromagnetic theory could not explain it. So he actually faced a sort of sanction from the world of science in a way where like the sort of Royal Society under the leadership of Lord Kelvin actually prevented his work from being published for about 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
And finally, they were able to edit the sort of like theory of electromagnetism to explain X-rays as well. And that's when X-rays were included in the scientific consensus, right? So that's one example. The second example I want to give you is with regard to COVID, right? So we see a lot of COVID misinformation right now. And now there's a lot of research coming out about COVID that shows that COVID is actually a disease that causes severe immune dysregulation. You know, it is one of the 3 or 4 viruses other than HIV which attacks your CD4 like T cells, and it actually gives you immunodeficiency. So we are basically sitting on
Misfit.
Yeah.
Can we avoid talking about medicine, because I have no way of verifying if the information is correct or incorrect?
Okay, cool. I understand. No problem.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm trying to say is I have found that, you know, a lot of the public health information, for example, that's coming out from the American public health establishment or even the Indian public health establishment is either incomplete or non-existent. They just want people to come back to work. They don't actually care about giving correct information. And these are scientists and doctors themselves who are giving you wrong information or incorrect information about what
I think you're speaking to the wrong person, because I have zero exposure to all this. Maybe Dr. Abby Phillips might be someone who will be better able to answer these questions, or at least have an informed opinion about them. I don't have one.
Okay, fair enough.
So we'll just keep talking about things that we don't know anything about, and I try to avoid doing that. Is that okay?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I understand.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, this is something I wanted to talk. Anyway, I guess the point that I was trying to make, you know, like, you know, if you go back 20 years, you know, even I loved the video you suggested from Forrest Walkai as well. You know, maybe the scientific consensus on gender was also discriminatory towards trans people, but that's not
absolutely
anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Right. So I was just thinking, like there is a role for critical thinking. Like maybe we should think in a questioning way, just like we think about everything else in a questioning way. Maybe we should also think about the establishment of science also in a questioning way sometimes. That's all I'm trying to say.
That's true, but see, here's the thing. The doubts about the veracity of the scientific method and the consensus that scientists reach should ideally be discussed among scientifically literate people in the scientific community.
True.
When we open that bracket of suspicion for everyone, including Joe Nobody who has never gone to school, we end up with flat Earth.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
So there is definitely room for suspicion, and I'm pretty sure that scientific community has plenty of suspicious people within itself. They suspect each other, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to use that as a justification for suspicion among the general masses can lead to disaster, which is primarily why I did not want to talk about medical issues, because I have no way of talking about it. I have no way of vetting it.
Okay, that's fair. Also, I had a recommendation. You were asking for utopian science fiction, I believe. I think the
Yeah.
paper 2312 by Kim Stanley Robinson
Which
was
one?
for 2312 by Kim Stanley Robinson.
2312 by Kim Stanley Robinson.
Yeah, it's basically about this fully automated luxury space communism
Okay.
kind of a society.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Pleasure
Thank
chatting
you.
with you. Yeah, all
Same
right.
here, man. I wish I could have been more useful, but sorry about that.
No problem. Genuinely, I think the work that you do is so important, and it's been really inspiring for me to commit even harder to being a rationalist, to talk, just be principled, being a rationalist, because I had actually given up on, my stances regarding this, so because of how
Hmm.
difficult it is to talk to people, but hearing you talk to people is really giving me a lot of good pointers. So thanks a lot.
I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Thank you. Thank you, Misfit.
No problem.
That was Misfit. And let me quickly take Kale Chips, who I have not spoken to in a long time. Hi, Kale Chips.
Hi, Vimoh.
Hey, what's
In
up?
okay, yeah, yeah, good, good. Uh, how about you? Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, for various
It's been a
reasons,
while,
but
yes.
yeah. And
Hey, thank you for becoming a member, Saikat. Really appreciate it. Kale Chips, go on.
yeah, I was. I mean, I wanted to talk about like. I tried to bring it up last time that I was here, but unfortunately wasn't able to join the call. About like sensitizing children to trans people and just LGBTQ people in general.
Hmm.
And this was from personal experience. I mean, this story is kind of personal because I took my younger sister, who's
Hmm.
like preteens, like not an adult, like a teenager basically, to this convention, not convention, it was like a workshop for children on gender sensitivity and like peer relationships and
Hmm.
just relationships in general in school between boys and
Hmm.
girls and how to do it healthily. And the reaction at my home was not great. Like, like it was a fall. I don't know if you have experience with people trying to like talk to children about this and like getting backlash from family or like hearing stories from other people, but it was like bad. And
As in, the backlash was specifically with respect to gender matters?
yeah, like I'm trying
Okay.
to brainwash my sister
Okay. Okay.
into like the trans
If
agenda
you
or
don't mind me
LGBTQ.
asking, like, this is an urban family living in India?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, this is like,
Okay.
I mean, in fact, like in response to this, like my father just started, like he had not heard of those American transphobes that usually like, Ben
Yeah.
Shapiro, Matt Walsh and all. And
Hmm.
because I took my sister to him, he was like digging out these kinds of people and playing it on the TV and just everybody was being very weird.
Hmm.
And I mean, I think we should educate children. I think I want to be an ally, but I
Yeah.
also don't want to be like I don't want this to happen. Like, how do you sensitize children and also severely deteriorate your personal relationships with?
with the people who are in charge of those children.
Yeah, and I mean, there's my relations as well. I mean,
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah. I understand it can be complicated. I think the first thing to do would be to uh, do your best to educate the parents instead of the child, because it may seem like overstepping into a territory that most parents will not be comfortable with. Like, for example, I might have a problem with a relative of mine teaching their children, or rather indoctrinating their children into a religious ceremony. But I won't go to the child and say, you should not do this. You should point out your reservations to the relative who is in charge of the child, if the child is not an adult. If the child is an adult, you can speak with them. But the best way forward seems to be the less effective one. There's no way around it. You can speak to them, you can try to educate them, you can send them content, you can maybe get someone whose job it is to professionally counsel people to speak with them. I don't know the dynamics of a family, how much is the
right, yeah.
tolerance level of your parents, etc. So I cannot really give more precise answers than that. But generally speaking, before you, like here in this case, you did not know that they will object, right? But now that
I
you,
had I had suspicions, but I did not think it would be this bad. Like,
yeah, so that tends to happen. uh, it is always better to speak with like, for example, it might also have happened that if you had made your case to their parents and said, I think she might benefit from this, I want to take her, can I? They might actually have said yes. So maybe the situation got worse because you exposed her to that without their permission. Do you think that might be the case?
yeah, I think that might be part of it, definitely. Yeah.
Like, if you can imagine an alternative future where you went to them and asked them and were very calm and very reasonable and they said yes, then maybe that might have been the better way to do it. But it's okay. It's like, you still have plenty of future opportunities to speak with them. Make very clear that you don't want to, step on their feet or something. Ki, I think this is going to be useful for her, I love her as a, brother or something, and I think this will benefit her. This is something everyone is learning these days. uh, and if you want, you can also come and see what is happening. I genuinely believe that this is good for her. Maybe that will have a better impact.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, I think,
You
yeah,
don't sound
the thing
optimistic.
is, no, the thing is, I don't think I've been able to put across exactly how bad it has been. Like,
Maybe,
because,
maybe.
yeah,
So how
uh,
bad is it, if you want to put it, like they have prevented you from speaking with her ever again?
no, not that, but like just, I mean, uh, shouting, let's say, like shouting
Oh,
matches, like,
okay, wow. Hmm.
yeah.
Listen, if
But
your sister is inclined to have a non-traditional lifestyle of any kind, she will find her way. Just make sure you're there
yeah,
for her when she needs you.
yeah, I do trust her with that.
Yeah, yeah. If
But
she's a smart young person, she will find her way. Just make sure that when she does need help, you are there. That's all you can do at this point.
hmm, yeah, yeah, well, I did not think it would be this complicated, but like, I guess,
Yeah,
yeah, I,
sounds like
uh,
it.
yeah, that was about it. And just like, there's I mean, do you think it's brainwashing? Like,
No, I
because I
don't think
hear
it's
this a lot
brainwashing.
at
No,
me,
I
like,
don't think it's brainwashing. It's no more brainwashing than watching mythological serials on TV is religious brainwashing. If that is brainwashing, sure. I wish more people will get brainwashed into being who they are.
yeah, because I mean, the more because I have a lot of children, like, my parents' friends' children who I mean, I speak to them just
Hmm.
generally, and whenever like conversations where we're having where it doesn't align with what, like, it's crazy. Like, at one point, one of the kids who was like 8 was asking me about like the multiverse because he must have seen like some movie with the multiverse, and I was trying to humor him and also just be like, oh yeah, it could be real, but like, uh, we don't really believe in it because there's no consensus and evidence that it exists, and that triggered a few people in the room. while I was saying that,
No evidence. No evidence that what exists.
or
God.
that the multiverse exists.
Or the multiverse. Yeah, yeah. There isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there isn't, but like just
Who?
talking
What were
about
they?
like
What were they offended about?
that I was going to steer it towards religion, and then like trying to like in the next coming weeks also going to try to uh again brainwash him into becoming an atheist.
Oh, okay.
Like
Weird. Kill
so
chips.
this
Also,
is the thing.
another thing that I should perhaps point out, that I am not an expert in counseling young people in matters of gender. So if you can reach out to someone who has had experience with this, whose profession it is to help people in this department, and then ask them how you can proceed better, that might also help.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, yeah, that's was kind of the point when I took her to the workshop. It was with an expert.
So
But like, I
speak with that
guess you're talking
expert
about
about the
adults.
problems
Yeah.
you're facing now and get their feedback about it. Because this is what is happening. What can I do?
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This was
Anyway,
part advice and part also just consolation that uh, I'm hearing from a bunch of adults that you're trying to brainwash our kids. And
no, you're not. I don't think you are. Don't worry about it. People will say the word brainwashed is thrown around as if every laundry has a brainwash department.
yeah.
Education apparently is brainwashing. There are conservatives who think that there's brainwashing happening in universities, etc. It's just random shit. If you know your sister, if you think that she should know something, and her parents are conservative, it is understandable that they might see it that way. But if you think that your intentions are good and that you are helping her get a broader understanding of reality, I don't think of it as
Hmm.
brainwashing.
All right. Yeah, I guess that's
Cool.
about it. Thanks,
Thanks,
man.
man. Thank you. Bye bye. That was kale chips. Right. Let's take Pratik Sarvanan. I think that's the name. Yes. Hi, Pratik. I think Pratik, are you near your computer?
Hi, Vimoh.
Hi. What's up?
Actually, I wanted to join with my video open, but due to some network issues, your voice started breaking in between. So this time,
Oh, okay, okay.
I will leave my camera off. So
No issues.
today, I just wanted to ask about. Am I audible? It's breaking.
You
Your
are
voice is
audible.
breaking in
You are
between.
audible. You are audible. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, we seem to be having audio issues with Pratik. I'll remove them and keep them in the queue. Pratik, if you can change your network, I'll try you again in some time. Let's take Blasphemy Project. Hi, Blasphemy Project.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Vimoh. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What's up?
I'm good, good. This is the first time I'm joining your stream, so I'm quite a bit
Okay.
nervous right now. I was
That's all
thinking of
right.
some
Don't worry
questions
about
to
it.
ask you, but yeah, well, I've been following your channel since a year,
Okay.
and seems like you have got hot content regarding atheists and all. I
Mm-hmm.
like your content a lot. So I was
Thanks.
just trying to I was just wondering like. What made you an atheist and how you're dealing with it right now? It seems like no one is in your family is atheist right now. You're the only person, right?
So I actually made a longish video about that. If you go to my main channel, you click
Mhm.
on the live stream section, you'll find a video, 1 hour live stream where I discussed in detail about how I came to atheism. The short answer is that uh, I was a politically right wing Hindu, and that is what was keeping me attached to my atheism. Then there came a
Mhm.
time where I stopped believing in God, but I kept holding on to my religion, and I was kind of what you might describe as a Hindu atheist. And then eventually I came to a place where I realized that this is all nonsense, and I just started calling myself an atheist. If you're asking about my family's response to this, They're cool.
Okay, like
Yeah.
coming talking about. Okay, I got it. I got it. Talking about Hindu atheism, like I've
Mm.
seen people saying like Hinduism it's not a religion, but everybody living in India or they call it Hindustan. I don't
Yeah.
like this word actually. Okay, it's
Mm.
not Hindustan, it's Bharat. Actually, that's the
Mm.
constitutional word. But
Mm.
they say, everyone living in Hindustan, they doesn't have to be Hindu. Any Muslim can be Hindu, any Christian can be Hindu, any Persian can be Hindu living. I mean, you know what I'm trying to
Mm.
say.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
what do you say about that? I don't consider myself as an Hindu. I'm an
Yeah,
atheist. I don't
yeah.
consider
I
myself
think
as
it's
an.
a
So,
I think that, and I've said this before, when we are talking about something, we should use the most commonly accepted definition of the word, because otherwise the
mhm,
conversation doesn't go anywhere. If you and I are talking about a battery and I say
mhm,
batteries are nice and you say no, batteries are bad, and I say wait, what do you mean by battery? And you say gun, right?
mhm,
It doesn't work. The conversation doesn't work if we mean different things by the same word. So if we are going to have a conversation about the word Hindu, we have to accept the most commonly understandable definition of it. And that definition is not the definition that people gave to this land thousands of years ago. Today, the word Hindu means one religion, right? So when we
right,
say everyone is a
right.
Hindu, we are trying to have our cake and eat it too. We are trying to be Hindus are the best. Hindus are better than everyone else. And say those people who I said we are better than, they're also Hindu. What do you mean really? Like, are they Hindu or are they not Hindu? Because when you try to demonize them, they're not Hindu. But when you try
Mhm.
to bring them into your own fold to increase your numbers, they become Hindu. I don't think people should be
Exactly.
forced to call themselves Hindu. I think everyone has the right to define themselves. If someone wants to, if someone wants to call themselves a Hindu atheist, also I don't have a problem. But it's a meaningless label. It doesn't mean anything.
That's contradictory. Calling
Yeah,
yourself an Hindu and
yeah, 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 yeah.
right, right.
In fact, we
So,
had a
and
conversation with a caller, like two detailed conversations about this. It's on my main channel if you want to watch it. Hindu atheism. If you
right,
search for, you'll find it.
right. Like example, Dhruv Rathi, he called himself as an Hindu atheist.
He calls himself a Hindu atheist. I, however, have not seen his most recent video. I think the label Hindu atheist is completely meaningless. It's a way for
I was
Hindus to
thinking he
hold
was
on to
a
their
rational
religious
guy, but
privilege.
yeah, yeah. I was thinking he was a rational guy, but suddenly um, I saw him with Acharya Prashant talking about
Hmm.
Vedas and all, and trying to prove Ramayana not a mythological but a historic,
Yeah.
history figure and something like that. So I was like kind of confused what his agenda is actually. Is he really a rationalist or
He's a
is he
liberal.
trying to?
He's a liberal. He's a liberal. He is someone who is from a Hindu family. He calls himself a Hindu. He does not believe in God, but he does not want to let go of the religious label. So he calls himself a Hindu atheist. It doesn't make sense, I know, but I think that may be his thought process.
Right. And you come from a Savarna family. I mean,
Yes.
do you like this word or
Which word?
Savarna, so-called Savarna?
So-called
You know.
Savarna is better than Savarna because nobody has any Varna. Everyone is
Yeah,
equal.
right.
But
But
if
I've
you
seen
have to
people.
classify, if you have to classify me, I am someone who enjoys caste privileges. So I suppose I'm Savarna.
Yeah, yeah. But I've seen, so-called Savarna people.
Hmm.
They call themselves an atheist, but still they call themselves, I'm a Brahmin. I belong to the
Yeah, yeah,
general
yeah, yeah,
caste.
yeah. The
So,
main point is that caste system is such a fundamental part of the religion that is Hinduism, that is called Hinduism today,
yeah,
that they will deny gods, but they will not
yeah,
deny caste.
exactly.
So the caste is the primary thing. Like it is easy for someone who is from a Brahmin family to say, "I don't believe in God." Richard Dawkins, yeah, Sam Harris, yeah, Christopher Hitchens, yeah. Oh, no, no, I'm a Brahmin. They won't let go of their caste privilege. They will happily let go of the word Hindu, but they will not let go of their
Hmm.
caste privilege.
Yeah, like more in like my friends also they support communism. All right,
Hmm.
and I saw that there are lots of Savarna people, so-called Brahmin people. they are on the top of that position in communalism as well,
Hmm. Yep.
right?
That's true. This has also been a long-standing criticism of the left that a lot of high-ranking people in leftist political parties just end up being Brahmin.
Okay, you are Odia, by the way, correct?
I am Odia, yes.
You're from Odisha. So
Yes.
you yeah. Well, you must you must know about something about West Bengal as well, right? What do you
Hmm.
think? Like how casteism is in Bengal, in Kolkata is in Bengal.
Specifically, like casteism is in Bengal, right? There it's in Odisha, it's in Bengal, it's every part, it's in every part of India. So what exactly are you asking me?
I'm asking like I see news casteism happening in UP, Rajasthan, right,
Hmm.
Bihar,
Hmm.
but I've
Hmm.
never seen news coming from Bengal like casteism is happening in Bengal.
Oh, there's definitely casteism in Bengal. You should read up about it. I'm sure you will find newspaper articles every single day about casteism in every part of India. Read local
Mhm,
newspapers or read
mhm.
writings by people. There are people. I'm sure I don't know them, but I'm sure there are people writing in Bengali about casteism in Bengal.
Okay, okay. And you only do live streams on Saturday?
Yes, the public live streams I do on Saturday. There's a second live stream which is members only on Wednesdays at 8 p.m.
Okay, okay,
And of course,
okay.
there's
No
my
worries.
Instagram handle where I publish reels every day. That's instagram.com/Vimoh.
Okay. How you deal with people when they say our religion is the oldest religion, like Sanatan Dharma is the oldest religion and all, and
First
nowadays
of all,
Muslims are also.
uh,
Yeah, let me complete my question. Sorry. Nowadays, Muslim also claim that our religion is the oldest because Adam and Eve, Allah created Adam and Eve, and they are like they are the prophet. Adam is the first prophet of Allah,
hmm.
and so they are
First of
also
all, there is no
similarly
proof
they
of
are
it.
also
There is no
claiming
evidence of it.
exactly, exactly. But they
There
say
is no evidence of it.
it's a,
And
yeah.
dinosaurs are older than every religion. So we should all follow dinosaurs.
Of course, of
Also,
course.
like
Yeah.
the other point is that
Uh-huh.
I am not really interested in how old a religion is.
Mhm.
Maybe there is a religion
Yeah.
that is really the oldest. And maybe the claims that are being made about a religion being old are false. But it doesn't really matter, does it? What matters is how good is it? Just because something is old, does that mean it is true? You
Yeah,
can have a book that
exactly.
is 15,000 years old and it's full of lies. And you can have a book that was written yesterday or last Tuesday and it is not full of lies. Which book will you choose? The new one, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So
But
age
I don't
doesn't
know,
matter.
right? I don't know, but how, I mean, even an educated person, even a doctor, when he is going to do an operation and he have a mandir outside the hospital, he will bow
Hmm.
down, he will pray to the God, and then he will go inside the hospital and do the operation. So,
Yeah.
I mean, r- rational people in India are there, but why you think like even educated people are like this?
I think it's childhood indoctrination. People get brainwashed into the religion since childhood, and it becomes a central part of how they act in life. It becomes a source of confidence. It becomes the source of solace in times of grief, etc. So when someone has been through that system for like 30, 40, 50, 60 years, it's hard to give it
Uh,
up. So we had a caller earlier today who said, I'm an atheist and I also find myself falling back upon religious behaviors. A lifetime
mm.
of a lifetime of indoctrination will do that to you.
All right, all right.
Cool.
Okay, okay.
Blasphemy
That
project. Can I move on to
I
the next caller?
I got a lot of questions, but you must be running out
We
of
can we
time.
can talk
So
we
next
can
time
we
I'll
can
try.
talk next week if you
Yeah.
come back. Cool.
Okay, okay. I
Chalo.
hope
Bye
you will
bye.
take me then.
I will try. I will do my best. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. That was Blasphemy project. Let's try Pratik again. Hi Pratik. Pratik, Pratik, you're on mute. Unmute yourself, and I should be able to hear you.
Hi, Mo. Am I audible?
Hi. Yes, you're audible. Hello? Pratik, this appears to be a network connection issue. I think your connection is slow or something. Can you hear me? Nope. Apparently not. Okay, I'll still keep them in the queue and try one more time before we end. Before that, let's take William Salibak. Hi, William.
Hello, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Hi, Vimoh. So I recently came across your YouTube channel. I mean, about a couple of months back, and I've been
Okay.
binging your live streams. And I've watched
Okay.
a lot of them, and it's really nice to like meet, finally find some content creator who really is, thinks in a similar way to how I do. It was
Thank
good
you.
to find your stuff. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about like a lot of people, talk about the caste system and talk about reservations as a tool of, you know affirmative action.
Hmm.
I My biggest issue is that reservations only deal with government jobs, and that is roughly 1% of all jobs in India. And if
Hmm.
truly we want to create a society
Hmm.
which is representative in every form, we
Hmm.
cannot have just the government sector taking all the load of providing affirmative action. And I mean,
Hmm.
even in the United States, it's more or less led like universities and a lot of corporate sectors, despite whatever motives they might have. um, it is these private entities who also are at the forefront of the affirmative action. However effective it might be, that's a different question. So I
Hmm.
think that there should be a parallel system of reservation in our country, where
Hmm.
somehow the government incentivize the corporate sector. And by this I don't just mean like private education universities, but also like corporates in general, to make their boardrooms, make their offices far more representative.
I
But
agree.
again, I think the issue of how to do it, that's the biggest issue, because we know that in our country corporate sector is heavily dominated by people who are anti-reservation.
Yeah.
And so I basically was thinking about it, and just let me know what you think about my idea. The government had
Okay.
recently come up with this productive production linked incentive. If there is a
Hmm.
government which has the political willingness, could they come up with this concept of representation based incentives? If corporates, or if companies or educational institutions, they essentially increase the amount of representation that they have in their company, they would get certain incentives from the government. They might get grants
Hmm.
if they're educational institutions. They might get tax breaks if they're corporates. Uh, and there'll be a robust system of monitoring, which is probably like a government agency can oversee this system of monitoring whether there is compliance of these institutions, of these corporates. And though again I understand that big part of our country is unorganized sector, and this will
Hmm.
largely only affect the organized sector, but I think it'll be a welcome start, because right now it's
Yeah,
what
I think that might
0.
be it
Yeah,
might be an interesting way to do it.
yeah,
Yes, I agree with you. I But you have
yeah,
so far said nothing that I disagree with.
yeah. So, but then, for example, these examples, the recent example in Haryana, where they want 75% reservation for domiciles of Haryana in the private sector, which this
Hmm.
Dushyant Chautala has introduced, the JJP and the BJP government. I think that is absolutely bizarre. First of all, it does not take into account caste, and it doesn't take
Yeah,
it's got some very, very
it
bizarre.
must.
Uh,
If any, like to just to clarify, so far whatever he has said, the part that I was agreeing with was caste-based reservation, not
yeah,
economic, not local, not linguistic, not anything else. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think even if the government wants to push it in the private sector, they might even add women to it. I mean, obviously with caste being an important factor, but like,
Yeah.
uh, because I know that there are certain organizations which have started coming up with which have these diversity audits in
Hmm.
their. So there are certain companies which, I mean, so there might be that might be a way forward, in the sense of going forward how this might be implemented amongst
That's true. I'm
in
obviously
their.
not a policy expert. I cannot tell you how it should be done, but whatever you have said, I agree with.
Yeah,
And
so the
the
reasons.
government providing certain incentives to private parties to increase diversity inside them is definitely a good idea.
Yeah, I think even state governments themselves can start off like a DMK
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something. They
yeah,
can, I mean, bring in policies,
yeah.
because
They
this
they, they
idea
should.
came.
Yeah.
Yeah, this idea came to me because I remember when Mayawati was in power. I think
Hmm.
she had given some incentive where companies that would hire
I
people
don't know
from
about it. I was an idiot back then. I don't know about it.
yeah, so I think she had incentivized that they'll give lands to company like factories which
Hmm.
employ people from Bahujan backgrounds. They'll basically give
Hmm.
the land for free to these
Hmm.
factories, and that is where I sort of came across this. Uh, yeah,
Okay.
that's largely an opinion thing which I wanted to share. The main question, like not the main question, but like one question which I had, which I've observed. Um, I have come across this fact thing where I found that ex-Muslims uh,
Hmm.
tend to be like very anti-Islam like and I mean I understand them being anti-Islam, and I mean normal atheists will also have a certain degree, but
Hmm.
uh, it is to almost a particular extent where they sort of forget the lived experiences and the lived realities of this country, and
Yeah.
almost sort of ally with uh,
Yeah.
even like the BJP
RSS.
nutters as well. Yeah, yeah,
Yes. Yes. There is a very nice video by Ghalib Kamal. I don't know if I can find a link to it, but Ghalib Kamal was talking about, listen, I'm an atheist from Pakistan. I definitely don't like Islam, but I have been a Christian in Pakistan and I know what it is like to be a minority. So he was appealing to subcontinental ex Muslim atheists to be mindful of the kind of political situation that they're encouraging by allying with Hindutva groups, because
yeah,
Hindutva groups will happily accommodate ex-Muslims because they're saying the things that they need said.
yeah,
But
yeah,
uh, I am afraid some of them, at least, uh, blur the line between being anti-Islam and being anti-Muslim human beings.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And it is something that I have to remind my followers periodically about also. Every week,
yeah,
somebody will come, why can't you be more like Sam Harris? Because Sam Harris thinks that your brown skin makes you dumber than white people. He platforms racists on his podcasts. It is the Sam Harris and Richard Dawkins variety of atheism is from 2010s, if I'm not wrong. It is almost
yeah,
outdated. In
yeah,
this day and age, we need a more compassionate atheism, which I think is most, at least from the West, the the best representation of it. I find it in genetically modified skeptic.
yeah. I was literally gonna say the same name.
Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah,
doesn't even call himself an atheist now. He calls himself a pluralist, which is, I think, a
mm,
beautiful label.
yeah. Have you come across JJ Makala? He's a Canadian
JJ
YouTuber.
who?
JJ Makala. In fact, he was recently on
Makalu. Huh, huh, huh.
Genetic.
I've heard
Yeah,
of him. I don't know if I've watched much by them.
he doesn't really make atheist content. In fact, I don't even think he considers himself an atheist.
Okay.
He's in fact he's a conservative, but if
Hmm.
you go across it, he's like a very rational man, and
Okay.
his major thing is regarding cultural commentary. So the
Okay.
culture of North America, politics, culture, food, all that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
And like he makes very nice, very informative videos,
Okay.
and I think you should really check him out. It's
I
not
will. I
really
will.
atheist content in like the stereotypical way, but it's like very rational and
I
very
think
nice
that
stuff.
the age of the purely atheistic channel is kind of at its end,
Yeah,
and the atheistic channels have to be more, you know, uh, since religion is stepping into politics,
yeah,
atheism cannot simply be about rationality anymore. It has to get, it has to be about human rights. It has to be about equal access to resources. It has to be about the future that we talk about all the time, कि अगर religion नहीं होता दुनिया बहुत अच्छी होती, कि yeah, I accept that you want a beautiful world where everyone is equal, but this alone is not going to get you there. Get,
yeah.
like, engage in other things.
hmm I would
Yeah.
actually suggest that you watch one video from JJ Makala,
Hmm.
how evangelical Christians became Republicans. It's a very
Okay.
interesting video, and it in fact it
Hmm.
starts off with how evangelical Christians were actually supposed to be the nutters uh, in America back in the 20s. Like nobody
Hmm.
really liked them, and
Yeah.
in fact, rather it's this televangelism which sort of
Mm.
starts right after like the Vietnam War, when you find this Reagan and all of these conservative figures coming up, that you really find this evangelical Christians getting like a bigger voice. And I can
Yeah.
literally see the parallels in India where we've
Yeah.
got our
There's
nutters.
a there's at least one episode with someone about talking about this on The Thinking Atheist by,
Mhm.
Seth. What's his name? I forget his second name, but the Thinking Atheist podcast had one episode by someone which was about the rise of the nutty Republicans.
Yeah.
No, it was about Christian theology. They want a theological state or something.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm forgetting the details of it, but yeah, something like that was there also.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously been a lot of Islamophobia in India. There's this
Hmm.
book by Ghazala Wahab.
Hmm.
It's about her experiences of being Muslim in India, and in fact, she mentions like examples, like very traumatic incidents from her childhood, despite the fact that she lived like a very privileged life in like a very posh area of Agra. How like
Hmm.
their house was once surrounded by mobs, um, because of like some incident that had happened. I don't know if it was around Babri Masjid or probably earlier than that,
Hmm.
but and it was literally Congress people, like supporters of the Congress, who were I mean, this is back in the time when like uh, a lot of these like present day right wing parties and right wing groups weren't that powerful. So
Hmm.
even the Congress, in fact, like this Meher Chand Khanna, the guy who has so many markets named after him in Delhi. He was, I think, the first minister in Nehru's cabinet for refugees. He
Hmm.
was a member of the RSS as well as being a member of the Congress.
Yeah,
So
Nehru was too open-minded. Nehru
yeah,
was
I
too
mean,
open-minded. He should not have been, I think, at least towards these guys.
yeah, I mean, in fact, even like Shama Prasad Mukherjee, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
essentially him becoming martyr is like the most bizarre thing. He literally has no you know definitive role in that period, and
Yeah.
he's literally treated as this martyr.
There was a
Same with
lot of
Deen Dayal.
pressure. There was a lot of pressure on Atal Bihari Vajpayee to call these people martyrs from the RSS side, and he kind of
Yeah,
obliged when even he
even with
knew
Deen Dayal
it took him
Upadhyay.
that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. I mean, he was just randomly like someone robbed him. He died in the train, and now I mean, it's as if he's treated as if he was this martyr. Mughal Sarai has
yeah.
been changed to Deen Dayal Upadhyay
You're
railway
talking about
station.
that. Yesterday, somebody came and in the comments tried to prove to me that Bhagat Singh was inspired by Veer Savarkar. And I said, no, that's not true. And he recommended me a video. And I told him, dude, the video that you're sending me was made by me 4 or 5 years ago. It says nothing about Bhagat Singh. And he says, yeah, but is it impossible for Bhagat Singh to have read something by Savarkar? I said, we don't judge people on the basis of that. We judge people on the basis of what they have said. And what
Yeah,
he has
exactly.
said is that he was inspired by Lenin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Completely.
thank you, William. I have to get
Yeah,
to the last caller before
sure,
I
sure,
end today's
sure.
live stream. Thank you. Great
Yeah, it was
conversation.
great. Yeah.
Bye bye. I have accidentally added Riosid Nepali Marxist to the stream. Hi, Riosid.
हेलो
Hello.
सुनाई दे रही है
सुनाई दे रहा है.
okay so am I the one having conversation or am I
Sorry?
just
I can hear you. I can hear you. Go
okay
on.
so is there any specific like thing that I have to talk about or can I
No, no, nothing, nothing. It's an
okay
atheist live stream. You can talk about something related or atheism or God. If you do
okay
believe in God,
yeah I don't believe in God. I'm a Marxist, of course I don't believe in God.
there are you'll be surprised. There are plenty of Marxists who do believe in God.
Yeah, I've seen them. I do see them, but I don't really think it is possible to be a Marxist and believe
Hmm.
in God because
Okay.
Marxists are, first of all, materialists,
Yeah.
and to believe in God is to believe in something metaphysical,
Hmm.
and like it is just not something of Marxism to believe in
Yeah.
metaphysicality.
Yeah, but life is complicated, right? Sometimes people are
Yeah,
Marxists because they believe in labor rights, and they've been also been brought up in a family that was religious. It can be any religion, and people end up surprising things. Yep,
yeah.
people end up being surprising. But go on. What did you want to talk about?
I specifically wanted to talk about the rise of fascism in India. Although I'm not from India,
Hmm.
what I've seen is due to the rise of fascism in India, a
Hmm.
lot of right-wing nationalist parties are getting big in Nepal because of that
Hmm.
influence,
Hmm.
um, and uh, and from Indian support, specifically the Hindutva support, there
Hmm.
were a lot of pro-monarchist riots in Nepal capital city Kathmandu about, like, I think it was a week ago, and what could be seen was it had a Hindutva backing
Hmm.
basically, and people wanted a Hindu nation, and a
They
lot of
wanted Nepal to
Indian,
be a Hindu nation again.
yeah, and
Okay.
a lot of Hindutva people supporting that party basically, and I'm very concerned because of this basically a right wing
Yeah, you
slope
should be. You
in
should be.
India specifically,
Yeah.
because there is little difference.
Hopefully we can kick out this disease, and then the influence of that can be seen in your country as well.
Yeah. So, and what I've been seeing is the difference between the Indian Congress and Indian BJP party economically remains a very small difference. In social
Okay.
issues, sure, one party is very openly Islamophobic, and among many other things, misogynistic,
Hmm.
Hindutva, and openly, let's say, fascist. But
Hmm.
and the Congress party is not openly, you know, have open prejudices, let's say that much. But
Hmm.
economically, uh,
It
in
has a
terms of,
capitalistic bias,
yeah,
neoliberal bias. Yeah.
I wouldn't even say bias. They both are capitalist neoliberal parties.
Yeah, that's true.
Economically,
Yeah.
there's little to no difference.
Hmm.
And in case of things like reservations, I do think that the Congress party is doing a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I think it is just
You
a,
think it's a half-assed commitment.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
a
I also
just,
feel that way sometimes.
and it sometimes feels like Congress just doesn't want to win. They feel like a controlled opposition.
No, I think I may have said that about the Congress of 2 years ago, but right now it is completely different beast. I share your concerns about its attachments to neoliberalism. In fact, when the economy was liberalized by Manmohan Singh, we found a lot of infrastructural development happening in the country, but it was not happening for the right reasons. You made like Ashok Pandey, I think, talked about this in a conversation uh, on some channel, but he said that roads got made to distant villages all these years, despite the fact that the villages needed hospitals leading to villages needed roads leading to hospitals. The roads were not made, but the roads got made really fast because McDonald's had to be in every small town. So uh, that is the kind of risk associated with it. We also got our entertainment industry completely fucked. We got our news industry completely fucked by neoliberalism. Before that, you had journalists deciding about topics that are important. Now it is a matter of what people want. Even Gullu on some interview said, "Listen, I only serve people shit because that's what people want." You idiot! You are not in the entertainment industry. News is supposed to be a public good. So, yeah, neoliberalism has been less than ideal. Let's to
Yeah,
put it
but
mildly.
neoliberalism or capitalism in general, or the neoliberal strain of capitalism, let's say that, is progressive to semi-feudalism, which was the, um, let's say, the dying economic base of India after
Hmm.
the British left India. So in rural areas, people were still living in a semi-feudal landowner to the peasant relations, where the landowner owned huge amounts of land and the peasant basically worked on it. So it is, in that regards, neoliberalism is historically progressive to that
Yeah,
system. And it is good. Neoliberalization is good in that regards, but also, um, after the semi-feudal
I have
system
never,
have been
I
complete.
have never heard a Marxist say that neoliberalism is good.
Marxists do say that. Like Marxists, all Marxists say that. Every Marxist say that capitalism was historically progressive to feudalism, and feudalism was historically progressive to the
No,
slave
no,
economy system.
historically progressive part I understand, but to say that it was good is not something I've heard.
I mean, I'm saying it good in terms of it was historically progressive, not good. It was a good thing.
It,
It
it,
happened.
it it was better than the thing that was before it. Is
Yeah,
that what you're saying?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
got it.
That's what I'm saying. It was
But
not like
Rio said, give me 1 second. Everyone who's in the queue, with the exception of Pratik and Meghnad, can remove themselves because I don't have time today. After Rio said, I'll try to take Pratik. If Pratik's audio still doesn't work, I'll take Meghnad. We'll chat a little and then we will end today's stream. But go on, Rio said.
okay. Can I talk about Communist Party of India, Maoist?
Uh, what about it?
The recent, I wouldn't even say recent, basically the basic skeletal history of it and why it exists.
I would not be able to correct you, and I don't want you to say something about a banned organization that might demonetize the channel.
I would just basically go on a skeletal of it. So,
I think we can skip it, Rio said.
okay. So,
Because I would rather talk to, like, I do have plans to bring someone who's well versed in these matters on the show sometime soon, like in January or maybe even
okay,
in December. When that happens, I'll happily listen, but I have no way of vetting what you're going to say. That's all.
okay. I understand that.
Cool.
So, I'll talk about issues with deforestation and the basically removal of indigenous communities from villages without going there.
Rio
Would
said,
that
is
be
it
okay?
possible that we do it some other time? Because it sounds like it's going to take some time. And we are at the 2 hour
Um,
mark already.
okay, that's fine.
That's
I
fine.
think,
Cool.
yeah.
Definitely try to come back some other Saturday and I'll take you on and you can talk about this thing. Cool?
Okay, that's fine.
Cool. Chalo. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
That was Rio said. Let's see if Pratik's audio is still. Dastagir, I have to remove you. I just want to say hi if you have time for it, not particular topic. Dastagir, hi. I don't have time for it. But thank you for joining and hello. I'll remove you and now I have Pratik and Meghnad. Let's see if Pratik's audio is working. Hi Pratik. 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 Can you hear me?
Uh, is it fine at least this time?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. Go on.
So this time I wanted to talk about divisions in atheist community as Gnostic and agnostic divisions.
Okay. I don't think they're really divisions,
So
but yeah, go on.
why would and why some would say that
Pratik, your audio is getting cut off. Tell me, are you using your mobile phone and Chrome browser?
no, it was breaking in Chrome last time, so I switched the browser. But I am using mobile phone only.
Okay, so the problem that Chrome had last week, they no longer have it. They have fixed it. So if you want, you can join using Chrome.
I think it's fine now, at least.
Go on, but it's still getting cut off. But go on, make your point.
The point which I wanted to make is that some are calling agnostic that I believe in God. I do not believe in God to some extent, and I believe in God to some extent. I think it's meaningless to say that statement because if
No, no,
you are an atheist,
that's not what agnostic means. Agnostic simply means that they don't know if God exists. And after someone says that they don't know, they can reach one of two options, which is I don't know, but I believe, or I don't know, so I don't believe.
actually the religious institutions and each religion has its own definition of a God, right? So if
Hmm.
you if you if you say I do not know God, it's already a defined word, right? So if you are searching God, it's something meaningless, no?
Now, when you say you're agnostic, you are saying that what is commonly described as God, I don't know if that is existing or real or true. That's all.
And what is Gnostic, atheist?
Gnostic means I know. Agnostic means I don't know. Gnostic means I know.
Okay, fine. And I think I was wrong with my definition about
Definitions.
Gnostic and agnostic. Yes.
Huh. So, do you want to call back next week with a better browser or connection, and we can talk about this?
Yes, fine. At least I had a chance to speak with you with my
अरे कोई बात
explanation
नहीं,
video.
कोई बात नहीं.
And
चलो, thank you.
and I was I wanted to say this
Hmm.
some minutes ago. I just prayed to God sarcastically that
Oh,
my connection should be fine.
clearly that did not work.
Yes, and
Chalo.
yes. Good night. Thanks for
See you, Pratik.
taking me
See you.
again.
Bye bye.
Bye.
That was Pratik. We're left with Meghnad. Let me put Meghnad on screen and then read a couple of super chats. Hi, Meghnad. Do you mind if I read a couple of super chats?
Hello. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, I said
There is.
absolutely. I mind.
Oh, you mind? Then I'm
No,
definitely
no,
going to do
no, no, no. Read, read,
it.
read.
Raghunath Ramdasan, thank you for the $4.99. Much appreciated. Raghunath says they keep using weasel words like way of life. The response is whose way of life? That's one of the ways the caste foundation gets exposed. Yeah, exactly. Not everyone has the same way of life, and way of life is very vague. Cycling also can be a way of life. But Raghunath Ramdasan, thank you for the $4.99. Satyam Jha, thank you for the 40 rupees. Satyam says CIA proved Hindus Tantra in the report Gateway Process. I do not think this is true. If you have a resource, you can mail it to me and I will be happy to look at it. Satyam also says, will you analyze CIA gateway process soon? Search. I will do my best to Google it, but I do not think CIA has ever done any research on anything Hindu. Dr. Striker, thank you for the 40 rupees. Vimoh bhai, nice stream today. Good night. Thank you, Dr. Striker, and sorry for putting you to sleep. Ha, Meghnad, go on.
Hey, just came to say hi. I wanted to come
Okay.
earlier.
What's up?
Sorry, I'm using my shitty camera today.
Oh, okay. No, I deserve it. Clearly, you reserve your shitty stuff for me.
No, no.
Oh, it's Vimo's live stream. I'll use my shitty camera.
No, I was just like listening to the last few minutes of it, right? So no, I just wanted to say, so and we have spoken about this, right? You know, the agnostic and agnostic atheist part of it, like the God does not exist. So no, agnostic being that I do not
I don't
know,
know.
and then you
Yeah.
have two options, which is one is
Mm.
either it exists or it doesn't, right? Can't you just
Either you
stay
believe or
at
you don't.
yeah? Can't you just stay at I don't know?
Can you?
Why do you have to pick?
No, can you stay at I don't know for anything?
I mean, I can always make the argument, right? Which is, I don't know because maybe I don't have enough information, and sure, I can try to find it, but I will never find it, or it's never enough for me
No,
to
but
answer
then
that question.
the definition of God comes into play. You say you don't have enough information,
Hmm.
but there is a person in front of you who says absolutely certainly that God exists. Do you believe them?
No, I
Then
don't.
you're an atheist.
Hmm.
You reject the
But
claim
yeah,
because you don't have enough information. Therefore, agnostic atheist.
but it's a function of faith, right? And we've spoken about this. Like for
But then
example, right? So something that I've been wanting to happen for a while, sort of happened last week, right? And again, it's a bit random also because I've been wanting it to happen in my head, right? And then something just randomly came about and it happened, right? And I was very happy about it. And then I thanked the universe for it, right? Which is basically uh, like that whole theory, that you basically send out good vibes and you attract things towards you.
Law
So
of attraction.
yeah, it's law of attraction. Yes, you can call it that. But again, I know that will go into secret territory. But it has happened to me a few times, right? It can be completely random, but the fact that I'm believing in this also makes me happier.
That's true. It believing can sometimes make you happier. But the problem is that reality does not really care if you're happy or not. If you are in a burning house and you
Yeah,
believe that you're not, is that really good for you?
true, true. But again, that's an extreme scenario where I'm in a burning house. At that point, I will
No,
not
make it
believe.
make it less extreme. Make it less extreme. Suppose you live in a universe that is 14.5 billion years old, but you believe that you live on a planet and there is no universe and the planet is 6,000 years old. Your common everyday life does not get affected, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but you are also not going to be someone who understands the universe. If you're okay with that, then great.
You can't understand the universe. You can't.
But you can understand some of it. And the parts that you
Some
do
of it.
understand, you should not have to deny just because, like, I cannot read the entire book, so I will not even read a page, is what that sounds
True.
like to me.
Um, but I mean, the book is intense, right? The book is like What is it? Every that book that everybody claims to have read, but nobody has. Ulysses. Yeah.
Ulysses,
Uh,
I haven't read it. I proudly claim that I did not read it, despite the
yeah.
fact that it was my college course.
I tried it. It was bad. Just say it. It just didn't make sense to me. So I gave up, right? And it's like, ये मेरे से ना हो पाएगा. I mean, someone did
Yeah.
write this
Yeah.
tome of a book, right? And they did think that they're putting something out in the world for everyone to understand something better, right?
Hmm.
I don't. What I'm getting at is, I might not have the capability of understanding it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um,
So that's the
I-
difference between unknown and unknowable.
yes,
Hmm.
you can say that it's not unknowable. You can say that if you work hard enough, you can learn the law of physics and figure out how black holes work, right? But at the same time, to do that, I will have to, go through like intense amount of knowledge on physics and then complicated things about gravitational forces, etc., whatever, right?
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, it will make me happier to just think that, yeah, I don't know what a black hole is, but it does exist, and it is magical. Magical in the sense like it has magical is the
Reality
wrong word.
bending powers.
Yeah, it's like it
Yeah.
bends light, and
But the
that goes
problem
on.
is that would be a lie and you know it. The information about
Shit.
black holes is out there and you
Yeah.
know that it is out there and that if you tried you can get it. Information about God is not out there. There is no way to get it and everyone who says that they know is lying because their
True.
claims are logically inconsistent.
Fair point. I keep falling into my own trap, no, all the time.
It's not a trap. It's like the entirety of human experience is so convoluted that, like I was talking about the other day, like someone pointed out, right? Pascal's wager. Pascal says
Yeah.
that maybe there is a God, maybe there isn't. But if you believe in God, you lose nothing. If you don't believe in God, you go to hell. So believe in God. And this person says, yeah, but can you
Mhm.
just start believing in something willy nilly? Is that really belief? If I told you to believe that a dragon exists in your house, could you believe it despite not seeing it? You'll be lying to yourself, right?
True, I can believe that there is a spirit of a dragon that is just floating around in my house.
But would you still be really believing in it? It's make believe, right? It's the kind of belief we have when we are in a cinema hall. We know that the
Yeah.
people who are dying and suffering and we are crying, sitting in the darkness, are being paid huge amounts of money to pretend, and we are still crying about it.
What is
And
it?
when we
Suspension of disbelief, right?
willing suspension of disbelief, yeah.
Willing suspension of
Yeah.
disbelief,
So
yeah.
that's belief, right? You would suspend disbelief.
So
Is
that you can
suspension of
believe.
disbelief the same as belief? I don't think so.
But temporarily, I guess. Again, you can play tricks with your mind, right? I'm now reaching this point where I'm like I've also like argued about this a lot of times, right? Where how stories are useful for you, about how you tell stories to yourself and sort of make up things. So like I've been thinking about this one incident of bullying that happened to me, for instance, right? In school, and it was terrible. And I recently realized that it shaped me big time. Thank you, therapist. And the thing is, the interesting thing there is that once I like started sort of doing this exercise of reliving that moment, right? All sorts of things came out, but also another realization came out that I had modified the details of what actually happened over the years to sort of preserve myself or protect myself.
To make it oh, okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
happens.
So that's the thing. So like that's the power of stories, right? Which is I'm telling that an event has happened to me when I was young, right? But over time, that I have told a story about it to myself, right? Which might lead to like positive, negative. That's a separate matter. But at the same time, I can also change that story now. I can also make myself believe otherwise if I constantly try to tell myself another narrative.
But you were not consciously doing that, right? It was your subconscious mind playing tricks. The alteration of the memory.
Yeah.
Like even if you hypnotize someone into thinking something happened when it did not happen, they're not believing it. They're simply being manipulated into remembering something false.
That's what I'm coming to, right? Let's take the example of Sadhguru, right? So Sadhguru, I feel like, uh, in the beginning maybe he was a little self-aware of what he was doing, but I think as days went on, he was telling himself a story that he's this divine being who is giving like divine advice to everyone or whatever he thinks, right? And of course, he's a businessman also, so that is another aspect of it. He knows how to make content, so that's aspect number three. But the first aspect, where he goes up on that stage and he gives like this, divine advice to everyone or like whatever Pani may say. Yeah, Pani, some random shit that he says. Do
Water
you
has
think
memory.
if water has memory? Yes, exactly. So for something like that to also happen, Sadhguru will have to tell himself an immense amount of stories and believe in it, right? And then based on those stories is how his empire is built. So it is kind of useful for him to go into that stage of delusion almost or disbelief. So it's like
Is
willing
that even
disbelief.
belief? Is that even belief? Like for
I
example,
mean, he believes it himself.
if he does, which is like another matter,
That's
but
subjective.
it is
Yeah.
possible. What I'm
Hmm.
saying is there is a bookshelf behind you, right?
Yeah.
Do you believe it exists?
Yes.
Right. Uh, the belief that you will be able to have of the invisible dragon in your house, will it be the same kind of belief? Do you see any difference between the two?
Yes, because I can't prove that the dragon actually exists, right?
It's
I
not
can
even about
prove
proof.
that the
It's just about
bookshelf is
belief,
right
right?
here.
It's just about belief. You
Hmm.
like, let's say Paraguay, the country Paraguay, which you have never seen or been to. Do you believe it exists?
Yes, but it is
Do
again
you
a
believe
story that humanity has told itself.
could be, but you don't think that? We can. My point is that we can do a lot of things with our brain.
Hmm.
Could be, would be, should be, could have been, etc. But at the end of the day, when you really boil it down, there is a distinct, clear difference between things like I believe this is a microphone,
Hmm.
and I believe that that God could be there. I
Hmm.
do not think that it is possible to unconsciously believe something. Belief is conscious. I could be
Eh,
wrong.
Agreed. Agreed. I mean, conscious. I mean, it can be both ways. I mean, I don't want to like really like argue with you on that. But my point to this whole thing was how it can be useful to believe for your own well-being.
So we had a conversation early in the live stream, which is
Hmm.
what do you mean by useful?
Again, it is better for my mental health. It makes me happier. It makes me function better as a human being. In a way, it can make me more empathetic also. Like believing, I mean, even like the story like Harry Potter and the
Hmm.
morals that it gave me. right? I do believe that it made me a better human being. But now, when this whole J.K. Rowling trans stuff is happening, where J.K. Rowling turns out to be a transphobic person, uh, I was like wondering if that has actually changed my views on the Harry Potter book at all, right? And I'm like, I choose to sort of differentiate the two now, which is there is J.K. Rowling, the transphobe, and there is J.K. Rowling who wrote Harry Potter, because I took such immense personal values out of that book, right? That I just want to keep it as it is,
Oh
right?
yeah, that's
And
understandable. If
yeah,
something has been a serious presence in your formative years,
mm,
Harry Potter has that on me also. But then I try to make a distinction between the books and the movies. So whenever I feel
mm.
nostalgic about Harry Potter, I watch the movies instead, because the movies were the work of a lot of people, not just J.K. Rowling,
Oh,
right? The books are
mm,
J.K. Rowling stuff. So whenever I
mm,
feel nostalgic, I go towards that instead of the movies.
mm,
The trouble is this whole separating the artist from the art thing. I watched a reel recently where somebody said, I'm advocating for the exact opposite, which is take the artist and take the art and mash them together so hard that it's impossible to see them as different things. Because inevitably, we all have very emotional reactions to the artist who portray Agent Ethan Hunt, right?
mm,
Or Gandalf or Frodo or any fictional character.
mm,
We don't just like the character. We don't like, the human brain is not that complex key. It can tell the difference between, oh, this face that makes me happy, this same face is had by a really detestable human being.
mm,
Inevitably,
mm,
always we are going to fall in love with artists and actors and writers, etc. But when we find out that they're not good people, are you really looking at them through the same lens? Like my
mm,
all-time favorite novel is something called Ender's Game, and the
mm.
man who wrote it is a homophobe.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
Orson Scott
okay.
Card.
That I didn't know. Thank you for ruining it. But I like Indian. Oh, good God.
There is a what I'll do is I'll share a video by Lindsay Ellis with you,
Uh, uh,
where she did a three-part series on the making of the Lord of the Rings,
mm,
about how it
okay.
destroyed New Zealand's native cinema industry.
Ooh, okay. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. That is
and
that's the kind of stuff.
she
Yeah.
frames it like the journey of Frodo. She comes back at the end of it to her own house
Mm,
and she
mm.
says, like Frodo, I have returned and I'm no longer the same person.
Ah, very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah,
I'll
please do
share it with
share.
you.
That sounds
Yeah,
great.
I'll share it with you. Maybe it'll throw some light on this. It's not
Yeah.
easy. There is no simple answer, but I am definitely in favor of taking the artist and the art and smashing them together so hard that you can't tell them apart.
For my own self-preservation, I choose to do the other way. But also, okay, so you're talking about art and artists. Talk about, there's another thing, right, which is Gandhi's philosophies and Gandhi as a person, right?
Hmm.
This is often like, used argument that Gandhi had like some problematic views. He had that whole niche thing where, he was exploring his sexuality, or like, whatever, or the lack of sexuality. And in
Hmm.
that process, he did a bunch of experiments. He used to be casteist, like he had some very Savarna views, all those things, those arguments, right? Can you separate Gandhi's philosophy and Gandhi?
I can't. Also, Gandhi was not an artist. He was a politician. He
True,
was a
true.
sincere, like whatever he said, we have to assume he was sincere about it. What I can do is that I can say he was a human being and a seminal influence on the Indian freedom
Mm,
struggle. And he was not a god, and that he had flaws, just like everyone did.
mm.
And yeah, I can leave it at that.
That's fair. That's very
Yeah.
fair. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
people
That's
criticize
where I
Gandhi,
am
right?
at.
People, criticism of Gandhi comes from Dalit quarters and from Sanghi quarters.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I take
Absolutely.
one seriously and I don't take the other seriously.
Fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
don't think I
Yeah,
need to tell you
that
which
makes
one.
sense. That
Given
makes
that we are
sense.
both Librandus.
Yes, of course.
So
Have you
yeah.
overshot your time?
Oh, by a lot. I'm at 2 hours 23 minutes right now.
Oh yeah, I can see. Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. Okay,
Do
I
you
won't like keep you.
I have to eat and then sleep.
Yeah, figured.
It's 10:20. So I'll just do one thing. Satyam Jha, you have asked where is email ID. He asked me to email. The email is vimoh@vimoh.in, vimoh@vimoh.in. Sorry, .in. Damn it, vimoh@vimoh.in. And thank you, Meghnad, for joining. I will just
Yes.
do my last few things and then end the live stream. Chalo, bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.
That was Meghnad. Again, before ending, I'll just take a look at the last. Okay, there's a $5 super chat from Sai Deepak Bhumpalli. Why do you think some ex-Muslims support Israel? Are reports from Palestine just Hamas propaganda? I think it depends on what reports from. There is misinformation, right? A lot of misinformation. But I don't think it is false to say that Israel has been bombing hospitals and killing babies. So, regardless of what your views are about anything, you can at least say that Israel is committing horrendous war crimes in Palestine, specifically in Gaza. Why some Muslims support Israel? We discussed some time ago. There are some people who have had a terrible time with Islam, and they because of their uh, uh, because of their disconnect from their former religion, they are treating Islam as this absolute evil which they will always oppose regardless of what else is happening. uh, that's all I can say on that. But thank you, Sai Deepak, for the $5. Let's see. अरे वो साई दीपक नहीं है, जे साई दीपक था वो, ये खाली साई दीपक भूमपल्ली है. Cool. Amit says, I disagree. I think belief is the state of being convinced. हाँ, so the question was, is it possible to do it unconsciously? Can you be convinced of something without knowing that you are convinced of it? I'm, of course, using the word knowing in a more colloquial sense than it is used by philosophers, but you get my point. Amit says, I agree with separation of the artist from the art and the artist after they're dead. I cannot support Rowling financially because she donates to anti-trans organizations. Yeah. However, watching Harry Potter movies is not only supporting J.K. Rowling, it is also supporting a lot of other people who are really cool individuals and a lot of crew members, the director and the people who worked on the sets and everything. Right. So we are at the end of today's live stream. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you to everyone who sent super chats. Again, I'll remind you, if you want to join the Wednesday live stream, you have to become a member now. Click on the join button below to become a member, or you can support the channel on Patreon. Actually, I'm going to stop promoting Patreon and stuff. I'm just going to tell everyone to become a member on YouTube from now on, because it's the best way for me to get the content out to you. So become a member or send a super chat, or if you're watching this at a later point of time, click on the thanks button and pay an amount of your choice. That's how you support this channel. I'm an independent content creator, and whatever you send me helps me pay bills and eat food and buy books and stuff. So thanks in advance. You can send money directly to Vimoh at UPI, vimoh@UPI, or you can go to www.vimoh.in and you can make a contribution of an amount of your choice. That's it. Thank you for joining today. I will take your leave now, and I'll see members on Wednesday. And if you're not a member, I'll see you again next Saturday. Until then, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.